Big hello and warm welcome to my dear students. I am sure that you must be preparing very hard for your upcoming prelims exam 2026. In that context, I have compiled a video for you where I am going to tell you some of the recent developments from newspaper, from magazines, from the Government of India's reports and from economic survey and budget related to some very important topics, not only from prelims perspective, but it will also help you in mains. But more so, it is very crucial for prelims. So these topics are agriculture and allied sector, infrastructure and investment, banking and finance, foreign investment and employment. And I'm sure that it will help you in the last hour revision of these important topics. So we will start with agriculture and allied sector. So if you check the economic survey and budget, this year they have started with some basic facts and data, and they say that the contribution of agriculture in our GDP is roughly around 20%. Now the contribution of agriculture in employment is roughly around 46.1%. So if you look at agriculture and allied sector, you will see that they contribute roughly around 20% to our GDP, which means 1/5 of GDP, and roughly around 45-46% in our employment. Now in the economic survey this year, 2 points have been given a lot of emphasis. So one point is related to onion, one is related to fruits, vegetable and potatoes. So economic survey says that the global rank of India in dry onion is rank 1, and India provides 25% of global output of onion. Similarly, if you look at vegetable, fruits and potatoes, our global rank is rank 2nd, and we provide roughly 12 to 13% of global production. So how to memorize this? For onion, we contribute 25% of global production. So what is half of 25? Around 12 to 13. That is our contribution in global production of vegetable, fruits and potatoes. In onion, we are rank 1, and in fruits, vegetable, potatoes, we are rank 2. Which means there is a case of excess production in India. Now it has two sides. One is good side, if we export it, if we use it. Another side is a challenge because we need storage facilities, otherwise how are we going to store? And since we don't have much storage facilities, farmers are forced to sell the entire output immediately once harvesting is done, and hence they get low prices. Recently I was reading the news that in Andhra, the farmers were selling the onion and tomatoes, etc. at a very low price. So these are the good sides also, because we are producing a lot. Challenge as well, because if you overproduce, you need good storage facilities to support it. So these are some of the points. Next is, this is also from economic survey. So if you look at this graph of the economic survey, you will realize that the growth rate of agriculture and allied sector, if you see the growth rate of agriculture and allied sector since 2017, 17, 18, 19, 20, if you look at all these years, you will see that it has done in most of the years, it has done well. Apart from 2018-19 where the rate of growth was 2.1%, 23-24 where it's 2.7%. And mostly when the rate of growth has been low, it has mostly been due to weather related, monsoon related reasons generally. So overall we have done well. And here if you see this graph, the economy survey talks about that between 1975 to 84, again between 85 to 1994, between 1995 to 2004, which means it is taking 10-year period, and it is trying to see average rate of growth of agriculture in various decades. So in this 75 wala decade, 85, 95, 2005, 2015, 14. So our average rate of growth of agriculture in this 75 wala decade is 3.56%, in 85 3.19, 1995 2.43, 2005 decade 3.42, and between 2015 and 2025, if you see this decade, our average rate of growth of agriculture is 4.45. So economy survey says that the decadal rate of growth of agriculture and allied sector in 2015 to 2025 is the highest compared to previous decades. As you can see that it's 4.45%, it's high compared to all other decades. And the second aspect that economic survey says that if you look at the rate of growth of agriculture in 24-25, it's around 4.6%. But if you take the average rate of growth of agriculture between 2020 and 2024-25, again you will see that average rate of growth of agriculture between this time period is roughly around 4.4%. So average 4.4. In 24-25, it's 4.6, which means roughly we have been growing at around 4.4, 4.5, 4.6. So roughly 4.5 is our average rate of growth. And we have also seen that decadal rate of growth is around 4.45, which means that if somebody will ask you what is the average rate of growth of agriculture in India, it's roughly around 4.4 to 4.5% per year. That is what is given in the survey. Then the economic survey says that in this very good rate of growth of agriculture, the biggest contributor is fishing, which is growing at 8.8%, livestock 7.1%, crops 3.5%. So since it is agriculture and allied activities, so agriculture is crop and allied activities is livestock and fishing. So in agriculture and allied activity, rate of growth is 4.45, but who is providing this maximum rate of growth? Maximum rate of growth is being provided by fishing 8.8, livestock 7.1 and crops is 3.5. So fishing and livestock is growing at a faster pace compared to crops. This is what the economic survey is saying in terms of data. So now this year I am going to tell you the schemes of agriculture in a slightly different way. See, when you read agriculture from geography perspective as well as economics perspective, so what I have done is I have tried to find a common ground, that how to prepare this agriculture so that both geography and economics wala point will be covered for prelims and mains. So see, what I have done is I have made a list of all the important inputs of agriculture, and now we are going to see some facts related to the inputs as well as what are the government efforts to improve these inputs and finally help in the efficiency and productivity of agriculture. So bachcho, which are the inputs that we are going to study? Input number 1 is seed, input number 2 is irrigation, input number 3 soil health and fertilizer, then credit means money, mechanization means machines, infrastructure, marketing, insurance and digital agriculture. So we are going to study all these 9 inputs which are important for agriculture one by one. So the first input that we are going to study is called seeds. You understand, seed is very important, right? So without seed, how will you grow plants? So the first scheme that we are going to study related to seed is called as submission on seed and planting material. Submission on seed and planting material 2014-15. So see, in UPSC what they'll do is they will ask you questions related to which ministry, which department and whether the scheme is central sector or centrally sponsored. So bacho, I am coming out of the frame so that you can have a good view and you can take down some running notes as well, which will help you to memorize the things. So this scheme called as submission on seeds and planting material started in 2014-15, which was almost like more than 10 years ago. It's a centrally sponsored scheme, and which ministry is running the scheme? Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. And inside that ministry, which department? Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. So now see, what is the target of this scheme? What does the scheme want? Obviously, the name of the scheme is seeds and planting. So this scheme would provide good quality seed for sure. So the first target is to increase the production of certified and quality seeds. See, quality seeds means those seeds which have desirable features. For example, it can withstand high temperature change, climate change, its productivity is high, it can, protect itself against the attack of insects and pests. These are the desirable qualities. So we need to produce that quality. Second is increased seed replacement rate. What is the meaning of seed replacement rate? So see bacho, this can be asked in prelims as well as mains. So seed replacement rate ka formula is area sown with certified or quality seed divided by total sown area. So what is the meaning of this? So suppose we have agricultural field like this. Its area is 100 hectares. Now, in this 100 hectare, if you look at this part, it is 15 hectares of land. What is so special about this 15 hectares of land? So this is that patch of land where the farmer has used good quality certified seeds which have some desirable features. And in this 85 hectares of land, normal seeds have been used which are not certified or not of great quality. So according to this definition, seed replacement rate means area sown with certified, which means 15 upon total area sown 100 into 100, which means 15% is our seed replacement rate, which means what is the area in which we are using certified seed out of the total area under cultivation. That is called seed replacement rate. So what is this scheme saying? This scheme, which is submission on seeds and planting material, it is saying that first we have to increase the production of certified or quality seed, and then the second point says that we have to provide the farmer with the seeds so that our seed replacement rate can increase. Third is seed village program. So third is seed village program. In this program, what we are doing is we are ensuring timely availability of quality seeds. So see, bacho, only producing the seed is not enough. You produce and then you make it available to the farmers so that farmers can increase the seed replacement rate. Now, suppose that I want to start a business in a village area of providing quality seeds to farmers. So to open the store and to provide the quality seed, whatever money I require. So for example, suppose I require, 1 lakh rupees to do all this. So 50% of this, which means 50,000 rupees, will be given to me by Government of India as subsidy. And if I am trying to distribute the seeds related to pulses and wild seed, then the subsidy part will be 60%. So if I need 1 lakh rupees, government will give me 60,000 rupees. The remaining 40,000 rupees I have to take as bank loans. So this is your first scheme called as Submission on Seed and Planting Material. Now there is another scheme which is National Mission on High Yielding Seeds 2025. So this scheme was basically announced in the budget 2025 and the Government of India has allocated 100 crore rupees for this. It is a central sector scheme and it is being managed by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. So what are we doing under this scheme? Acha, by the way, why do we need good quality seed? To increase production and productivity. So here it says the main aim of this mission on high yielding seed is to increase productivity of agriculture by developing climate resilient and pest resilient and high yielding seeds. I told good quality seeds means seeds with some desirable features. Now, government is saying that at least they are going to develop 100 new variety of seeds and their focus will be wild seeds, pulses and vegetable, because wild seed and pulses are something which we import a lot. So government wants to develop those varieties within India. There is a third scheme, bacho. It is called as Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana 2025. It was also announced in the budget 2025. See the allocation by the Government of India for the scheme. Rupees 24,000 crore was allocated by the government in last year's budget. It is also central sector scheme managed by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Now, what is the scheme? See. So Government of India is saying, by the way, before I tell you the scheme, so let me tell you what is the motivation of the government for the scheme. Are you aware of this program called as Aspirational District Program? So there are some districts of India where the Government of India found that socio-economic indicators are very low. For example, health conditions are poor, education, skill development, availability of water, electricity, all these things are very poor. So government brought all the ministries together, whosoever was required, like Ministry of Power, Ministry of Road and Transportation, Education, all these ministries were brought together, Ministry of Skill Development, and the government told the ministries to work together and provide all the necessity things which are required for the development of an area. All the necessary things were provided. Same approach the government is doing in agriculture. So government made a list of all the districts of India related to agriculture where 3 problems were there. Number 1, productivity of these districts are low. Number 2, crop intensity is low. Intensity means number of times we put the crops in the field. So in 1 year, if farmer is growing 1 crop, then the intensity is very low. In 1 year, if the farmer is growing 5 crops, then intensity is high. Next is low credit. So those districts of India where productivity is low, intensity is low, credit is low. Credit means money is low. The government made a list of all those districts, 100 such districts, and government involved 36 various schemes from 11 ministries and departments. Suppose that one ministry is, let's say, Ministry of, let's say, Power is providing electricity. Ministry of Skill Development is providing training. So Government of India said that 36 schemes which can benefit the farmers were brought together, and the ministries who are running the scheme, 11 ministries, were told to work together so that they can provide their expertise to these districts. What are the things they are trying to develop through these 11 ministries and 36 schemes? In these 100 vulnerable districts, we are trying to increase productivity, crop diversification, post-harvest storage, irrigation facility and agricultural credit, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 components we are trying to improve. By the way, if you see the UPSC 2025 mains paper, question related to agriculture, a question was asked, discuss the government's effort to promote diversification of crops in India. So you had to, one of the points that you had to write in the answer was Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana, because crop diversification is one of the targets of this scheme. Now, bacho, we are going to do the schemes which are in the field of agriculture related to infrastructure. So for infrastructure, you understand what kind of infrastructure will be required for agriculture. One is irrigation, that we have already seen, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. The second infrastructure that is required is, for example, storage, warehouses, cold storage, packaging, isn't it? Distribution. So basically the storage facilities are very important for the field of agriculture. So let us see which schemes government has launched for storage facility. So in the year 2014, the government of India launched a scheme called as Integrated Scheme for Agriculture Marketing 2014, ISAM 2014. What does the scheme say? The scheme says that if any farmer or farmer producer organization or cooperative or APMC mandi or anybody who is doing any kind of business in the field of agriculture, suppose they want to construct a warehouse, they want to construct a cold storage, warehouse, cold store, any kind of infrastructure related to agriculture, then whatever is the expenditure. So for example, suppose the expenditure is 10 lakh rupees. So the government of India says whatever is the expenses in creating this, if you are creating this warehouse in a general state, in a plain area, like let's say Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, UP, then 25% of 10 lakhs, which is 2.5 lakhs, will be given by government of India as subsidy. Right. Who will give this as subsidy? Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, because this scheme is a central sector scheme. So 2.5 lakh subsidy, and remaining 75%, the person who is constructing this warehouse has to take it as loan from a bank. And who are the people who can engage in the scheme, beneficiary of the scheme, who can construct this warehouse? Farmer, FPO, cooperative, APMC mandi, agripreneurs. Agripreneurs means those who are in the field of agriculture doing some business. They can do it. But if you are constructing this warehouse, for example, in a hilly state, then the government of India says 33.33%, which means 1/3 of the money. So 1/3 of 10 lakhs will be 3.33 lakhs. That is the money that you will get in the form of subsidy, and remaining part you will have to 6.7 lakhs you have to take from bank as a loan. This was the scheme. But then the government realized that, this 25% and 33.33% subsidy is fine. But the loan part was very heavy, 75% loan, 67% loan, and these farmers, FPO cooperative, they were finding the loan part to be very heavy because the loan that they were getting was at high rate of interest. So government of India brought another scheme. This scheme is still running, by the way, this integrated scheme for agriculture marketing, but government brought another scheme in the year 2020. What is the scheme this time? This time the scheme is that if there is a farmer, self-help group, primary agricultural credit society, FPO, APMC mandi, if any of these people want to construct a warehouse, suppose they want to construct a warehouse in India or cold storage in India, what they can do is they can go to banks or financial institution. So these people can come to banks and a financial institution and they can take a loan, complete loan, no subsidy. They can take a loan to construct this place. For example, they want the loan of 1 crore rupees to construct a very big, suppose there is a self-help group, or suppose there is a cooperative is also there, or self-help group is there, and they want to take a loan of 1 crore rupees to construct a very big warehouse and cold storage. Can they take a loan of 1 crore? Yes, they can. There is no upper limit on the loan. They can take a loan of 1 crore rupees, and suppose market rate of interest is 10%, they will get interest subvention of 3% if they make the repayment on time. So if they can get a loan of 1 crore rupees, market rate of interest, whatever is the market rate, MR, they will get a discount of 3% on that. So market rate of interest 10%, 3% discount, they will get the loan at 7%. That is the first thing. Second, any loan which is taken up to 2 crore rupees, see, any loan which is taken up to 2 crore rupees, you don't have to pay collateral. So credit guarantee is provided by government only. So if a farmer or a cooperative comes to banks and takes a loan up to 2 crore rupees, then you don't have to pay any collateral and you will get interest subvention of 3% also. But if they take a loan of more than 2 crore rupees, then what will happen is the credit guarantee will not be provided. You can take a loan of more than 2 crore, there is no problem, but credit guarantee will not be provided, because see, for credit guarantee part we have written credit guarantee only up to 2 crore ka loan. So 2 crore loan is ideal in this case. If you want a bigger loan, then you will have to bear your own collateral, you have to provide collateral. Now, what is the fund that the government of India has kept for this scheme, which is called as Agriculture Infrastructure Fund 2020? This is the scheme which was created by the government of India. So here the government of India has kept a corpus of 1 lakh crore rupees so that anybody who wants to construct the agriculture related infrastructure, they can take a loan. There is no upper limit, as I told you. Normally based on the project size you can take the loan. So 1 lakh crore is the corpus. Up to 2 crore you will get credit guarantee from the government, and more than 2 crore you will have to provide your own collateral. But interest subvention given under the scheme is up to 3%. 3% is the interest subvention. There is another scheme, bacho, which is related to infrastructure, which is called Animal Husbandry Infrastructure Development Fund, AHIDF 2020. What does it say? It says that suppose anybody, either individual or FPO or MSME or private company, it could be anyone. If anybody wants to invest money in the processing of milk and milk products, in processing of meat, animal feed means food of animal, breeding of animal, or drying facility. If anybody wants to engage in these activities related to allied activities, you can take a loan actually from a bank. What are the terms and conditions? So suppose bacho that there is an individual, let's say me, I want to open a dairy processing plant where I convert milk into cheese or paneer, for example. Now for this, suppose that I need 1 lakh rupees, because this is a very small plant which I need to create. I just need 1 lakh rupees. Now the rule is, out of this 1 lakh rupees, 90% will be given to me in the form of loan, which means 90% loan is 90,000. So 90,000 rupees will be loan part. The remaining 10%, which is 10,000, I have to contribute from my own side. Okay, so I will get a loan of 90%. Now, so whatever loan I am taking, which means 90,000 rupees loan I am taking, iska 25% will be collateral free. So whatever loan I am taking from the bank, Government of India will provide me collateral for 25% of the part, and remaining 75% government says you have to give a collateral. So suppose I require 1 lakh rupees. How much loan can I take? 90%, which means 90,000. Out of 90,000, on 25% of 95,000, the Government of India is going to provide collateral, and for remaining part, 75% part, the government says that collateral has to be provided by the borrower. This is the rule. Now, what is the rate of interest on this loan? 1 lakh rupees loan which I want, but I took, if I need 1 lakh rupees money, I can get loan of 90,000 only. So on this, what is the rate of interest? The rate of interest will be market rate MR minus 3%. 3% is the interest subsidy. So if market rate of interest is 10%, I'll get 10 minus 3, 7%. And what is the duration or the tenure of the loan in which I have to return the money? 6 years plus 2 years extra time is given to me, called as moratorium period. 2 years of concession or grace period is also provided. So which means total time period in which I have to return the money 6 plus 2, 8 years. Normally it's 6 years, but I can take 2 more years to return the money. So who is running this scheme? This is a central sector scheme. It is being run by Ministry of Fishing, Animal Husbandry and Dairying. And how much budget has been kept for creation of this kind of infrastructure for animal husbandry? So the total budget of this scheme is 29,610 crore, which means government is investing a lot of money for this purpose. So bacho, the next important thing which is considered to be a very crucial input for agriculture is insurance. You understand that majority of Indian agriculture even today depends on monsoon. It's not just monsoon, but there are many other things as well. For example, pest attack, fire, all those things, which flood, which might affect the crop production. Not only during the production, but after the production also the crop might be destroyed because of these factors. So Government of India says that why not create a scheme so as to provide a holistic coverage to farmers against these kind of calamities, and that is called as Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So Fasal Bima Yojana is a central sector scheme which is being currently operated by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. It is based on the philosophy of one nation, one crop, one premium. So I'll tell you what is happening under the scheme. So the Government of India says that if the crop of a farmer is damaged because of any natural disaster, for example, flood, drought, etc., pest and disease, or post-harvest loss. For example, let's say the farmer has already cut the crop, harvested the crop. Now, the crop is laying in the field, or the farmer is making the crop ready to be supplied to the market. But after harvesting and before the crop is supplied to the market, suppose when the crop is being ready, at that time only, suppose because of any factor like because of rodents, because of fire, because of anything, if the crop is damaged, the government says that full coverage will be given under the insurance program. This is called as Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So let us see how it works. So imagine that a farmer's value of the crop, total value of the crop is, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, okay? And the farmer has to insure the crop so that if there is any problem based on natural disaster, pest, etc., the government of India can provide compensation to the farmer. So if the value of the crop of the farmer is 1 lakh rupees, government of India says that in case the crop is damaged, this whole 1 lakh will be given to the farmer. But in order to avail the scheme, farmer has to provide a premium. So how is the premium calculated? So suppose that to avail this 1 lakh rupees insurance, the premium that the farmer has to provide is, example, let's say 100 rupees. So the government of India says out of 100 rupees premium, the farmer does not have to provide the entire amount. If the farmer is growing rabi crops, then the premium that the farmer has to provide is just 1.5%. So ideally premium should be 100, but the farmer has to give just 1.5 rupees, who will provide 88.5 rupees, remaining part government. Similarly, if the farmer is growing kharif crop, premium is 2%, and who will provide the remaining premium, remaining 98%, it will be provided by government. Similarly, for horticulture and high value crop, the premium is 5%, and the remaining 95% premium is, shared by the government, provided by the government. So this is how it is calculated. Now, how does the government of India know that the value of the crop of the farmer is 1 lakh rupees? So that method is called as yield estimation. Yield estimation. How is the yield calculated? Yield is calculated like this, that we find the, for example, total area, that what is the total area that the farmer is cultivating, and in this total area we find what is the output of the crop. So suppose that this is the total area and the output of the crop is, let's say, 10 kg and total area is 100 hectares. So the yield of the farmer is that from 100 hectare farmer is cultivating 10 kg of crop. So 100 hectare, 10 kg, 1 hectare, 10 upon 100, right? 1 hectare is 10 upon 100 kg, which means 0.1 kg. So this is how the yield is calculated, and this crop insurance provides compensation to the farmer based on the yield. Yield means whatever is the total that the farmer cultivates in a given piece of land. So the government calculates the yield, that per hectare how much crop cultivation is being done, and based on that the government of India compensates the farmer. Okay. Now there have been some new developments in the field of crop insurance. Basically what has happened is we are making use of technology in the field of insurance and agriculture. So here also government is using technology. See how. So in recent times there have been 4 developments related to crop insurance. The first is called digit claim payment. So for example, imagine I am a farmer, my crops have been destroyed and I have applied for insurance. So now I want to claim my money. How will I claim? So how will the government know whether the farmer has been receiving the money or not if the crop is destroyed? So this whole payment that is made to the farmer, application process, everything related to crop insurance has been digitized, and government can actually track whether the farmers have received the money or not through digi-claim payment. So this is the mechanism, online platform through which the government of India tracks digitally whether the farmer has been able to receive the compensation or not. Second is cropic. So bacho, you understand that the government of India needs to first be sure that whether the farmer has actually cultivated the crop or not, because suppose that there is somebody, suppose I am somebody who is not cultivating anything, I am doing other kind of business, but I have agricultural land, I will falsely make a claim. So I am not even a farmer, I will falsely make a claim that I am doing farming, my crop has been destroyed, please give me money. So what government does is through satellite they keep on clicking the pictures of all the farmers who are enrolled under crop insurance program, just to see that they are actually cultivating the crop. That is called cropic. Cropic means periodic collection of pictures. Like YesTech. What is YesTech? YesTech means suppose that government of India has clicked pictures of the crops of the farmer. Based on that the government calculates the rough estimation of the output. So that is called as yes tech. So based on cropic pictures that we take of the farmers' crops, we are able to calculate the total yield or output. Then there is this last component which is called as WINDS, Weather Info Network and Data System. So what happens under this is the Government of India establishes weather stations and rain gauge at Gram Panchayat and block level. Why? Because before the natural calamity happens, if we are able to identify the calamity, we can save a lot of wastage of crops and the government burden of insurance will also come down. That is why these advanced weather stations are established in village areas in order to find out any pending natural calamity which might be hitting the farmers in future. So this is called as Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Now the next scheme is related to digital agricultural mission. So bacho, you understand that there is increasing use of technology in the field of agriculture. So the Government of India 4 years back, they launched digital agricultural mission, whereby the government is trying to integrate technology in agriculture, various aspects of agriculture, so that farmers and government can make informed decision and good policy making to impact agriculture positively. For example, let's say I am a farmer. I feel that my crop productivity is not high, which means I am working very hard, but my land is not giving me sufficient result. I go to the government and tell them, please help me. How will the government help if they don't have data related to my soil health? How will the government help if they don't know how much money I already have, how much government schemes I have already used in the past, what is the weather condition in that area? These kind of informations are required before somebody can make an informed decision. Similarly, bacho, for example, when you go to a doctor and tell the doctor, please provide me suitable medicine, but how will the doctor provide you medicine unless the doctor does the diagnosis? So this digital agriculture mission is like that diagnosis, through which we get to know various aspects of agriculture so that we can do good policy making. Example, the first thing that government does here is, under digital agriculture mission, is government tries to find out the details of farmer, that who are the farmers. Farmers are identified actually, that's number one. Number two, the Government of India also identifies that which are the crops which are grown by farmer. First we identify farmers, second what are the crops grown by them. Third, the Government of India makes a detailed map of the village, that where do the farmers stay, where is the land situated. So everything is in detail, the map is made, minute details are put in the map. So first, data of farmer, data of crops and the details of the village mapping is done. These three data are collected, this is called as agri-stack. This is agri-stack. Okay. Now the second is Krishi Decision Support System. So see, what happens is there are many schemes that we have studied in agriculture, isn't it? So the data of all the schemes related to agriculture is collected at one place so that we can make informed decision. That system of integration of all the data related to all the schemes of the government for agriculture is called Krishi Decision Support System. The next is Krishi Mapper. Bacho, there are multiple type of schemes in agriculture. In some schemes, we provide the benefit to farmers to improve the land. For example, Krishi Sinchai Yojana. That is a scheme which is for improvement of land. For example, let's say Fasal Bima Yojana. That is not for improvement of land, that is compensation. Similarly, training to farmer for new technology. So, as I told you that the Government of India also provides some kind of demonstration to farmers that how to operate machines. That is called skill development. So there are two types of scheme. One is land-based scheme and second is other schemes. So all the land-based scheme of Government of India for farming community, they are collected in one place called Krishi Mapper. Then there is comprehensive soil fertility and profile mapping. See, we all want to increase the soil health. So we have soil health card. So entire data of soil health card and the condition of the soil is noted by the government, and then through that, the Government of India tries to find out that what should we do to improve the soil fertility. That is called as comprehensive soil fertility profile mapping, where we do the mapping of the various soils in India and their nutrients. Then digital general soil estimation survey. So remember, through cropic, we collect the picture of crops. So through that, we are able to calculate the productivity or yield. Yield means output per unit of land. We are able to calculate it, and so that we can do land improvement. So this measurement of crop yield on randomly selected crop is called digital general soil estimation survey. So these are the components of digital agricultural mission. As you can see, component number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got to memorize this for both prelims and mains. Now imagine what Government of India is doing is, remember agri stack, where we take the data of farmer, we take the data of crops, and we also take the data related to the village mapping. So these three data are taken, that is called agri stack. Now what government does is, so Indian Council of Agriculture Research, they also have data related to various parts of India for agriculture. So this Indian Council of Agriculture Research, they take the agri stack data also, and they have their own data of agriculture also. These two data are merged. This is a huge data set. Now what happens is, after merging this huge data set, the entire analysis of Indian agriculture is done, and this data is uploaded in an AI. What is the name of the AI which has been developed in the year 2026? One AI has been developed. This year only it has been released. It is called Bharat Vistar AI. It is developed by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Bharat Vistar 2026. So now what happens is, if I am a farmer, I use this AI to ask a question that my cultivation of let's say pulses is not giving me good result, what should I do? So because this Bharat Vistar AI has data of both Agri Stack plus Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and this data is collected together and analyzed by the app, AI app. So AI app will give me an answer using this data, and the answer that AI app will give me will be in multiple Indian languages. So if I'm a farmer who knows only regional language, it's not a problem, because I can get my answer in regional language. So once I get my answer, I can do my land improvement. So which means that AI is being directed towards helping the farmers to improve their production. So that is called as Bharat Vistar 2026. Now, see, one of the problems that Indian agriculture has faced in the recent times is related to productivity. Our productivity in agriculture has been little low, which means that, you know, what happened after Green Revolution, we applied a lot of fertilizers, irrigation, etc., and we got new variety of seeds also. So our crop productivity was increasing. But then from 1980s onwards, we saw slowly, and especially after 1990s, we saw that productivity became stagnant in India. So what happened is, initially after Green Revolution, agriculture productivity was rising, and after that it became stagnant, and in some cases it fell also. Now overall we are producing a lot. We are number 1, number 2, number 3 in the world in terms of production of everything: rice, wheat, cereal, fruit, vegetable. We are top 5 in the world. It's not about that. But the sad part of India is, if you take a big piece of land of India, ideally from this land huge amount of output should have happened, but from this land very less output is given. Even if we do best of agriculture, we get very low output from this piece of land, because the output per unit of land is very less. So we say productivity is very low. So Government of India is launching multiple schemes. So there are schemes which are being launched here, and the government expects that this productivity which is coming down will increase like this. This is our expectation. So it might be a question in UPSC Prelims or Mains that which of the following schemes have been launched to improve productivity. Like last year they asked a question in Mains, and they said that how can we improve crop diversification, which are the schemes government is using to improve diversification. So this year they can ask you that which are the schemes by the Government of India to improve agriculture productivity and technology, all these things, right? So let us study this, huh? So see guys, in the year 2007, Government of India launched a scheme called as National Food Security Mission. So what is the meaning of food security? The meaning of food security is that first of all, cultivation should happen, and then that food which has been cultivated should be provided to everyone. That is food security. So in 2007, Government of India said that we will follow a scheme called as National Food Security Mission, so that cultivation should increase and food should be given to all. Right. And to increase cultivation, government said that we will add more fertilizer, new type of seeds, so that productivity of the land can improve, which means from same piece of land more output can come. This was the idea. But later on, the Government of India changed the name of the scheme, and now the current name of the scheme is National Food Security and Nutrition Mission. Because earlier our focus was to give food to everyone. Now our focus is give food to everyone plus nutrition also to everyone. Because without nutrition, health status of individuals will be very degraded. That's why we need to provide that. So the name of the scheme has changed. Now it is called National Food Security and Nutrition Mission, NFSNM. 2024 the name was changed. It's a centrally sponsored scheme, by the way. So what are the two components of the scheme? As I told you, to increase production and productivity. And how do you increase production and productivity? By good quality of seeds, technology. See, this is the second component of the scheme, demonstration of crop production technology, which means we train the farmers in how to use technology. High yielding variety seed, pest management, water use efficiency, remember per drop more crop, and capacity building of farmers. Through this we try to increase production and productivity. Which crops are we targeting under National Food Security and Nutrition Mission? Rice, wheat, pulses, coarse cereals like maize and barley, commercial crops like cotton, jute, sugarcane, and nutri cereals like Shri Anna, which means millets. So this is called as National Food Security and Nutrition Mission. The second scheme which was launched for productivity is Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture. This was launched in 2014, bacho. And the National Food Security Mission was launched in 2007, okay? And in 2024, the word nutrition was added. And this is the scheme which was launched in 2014. See, the scheme is related to horticulture, which means fruits, vegetable, medicinal plants, all these things, right? So this is also a centrally sponsored scheme, and here the Government of India provides finance plus technological assistance. Anybody wants to grow fruits, vegetable, medicinal plants, etc. Government of India provides them finance plus technology. How is the finance provided? So suppose that I am a farmer and I am interested in doing horticulture, but I don't know which machines to use, which technology to use, etc. So central government will create, center and state government will together create an ecosystem to help the farmer, and the financial contribution by center and state is in the ratio 60:40. Center 60, state 40, and in hilly states, center 90, state 10. But why do center and state, they contribute money? So center contributes this much money, state contributes this much money, 60:40 or 90:10. But why are they contributing money? So center and state are contributing money to do three things. Because they want to promote horticulture. So there are three components. First, center of excellence. So center and state together, they create training centers where they put machines related to farming and they demonstrate and train the farmers about how to use the machine. That is called demonstration. Number two is horticulture development. So if I am a farmer in northeast of India and I want to get good seeds related to fruits and vegetables, then I want to do cultivation, then I want to do proper packaging. So starting from pre-production, arrangement of seeds to growing of crops, harvesting and distributing to consumers, every process the Government of India, which means center and state, are together going to help me. So that is the second component. Third component, clean plant program. So, for example, I am a farmer in the northeast, Bihar, Bengal or northeast, and I want to cultivate good quality, fruits and vegetable. But I don't have the good quality seeds, I don't have the good quality saplings, matlab small plants. So, because there is no good nursery near me. So, Government of India, center and state will make sure that good quality seeds and planting materials are available to me. And for these things, center and the state join hands in the ratio 60:40 or 90:10. So these are the two special schemes which are meant to promote productivity. Now let us see this picture, please. What do you observe? See, what are these? So these are basically oil seeds. Oil seeds, and this is oil palm. Oil palm. And this is also called as fresh fruit bunches, fresh fruit bunches, FFB. So this is called as fresh fruit bunches, from where we also call it as oil palm, and these are oil seeds. These are important sources of oil for us. So let me tell you the story of this entire thing, okay? Now, if you look at the importance of edible oil in India, I have got a data set which will show you what is the importance of edible oil. See, so if you look at India, you will see that around 20% of global area under edible oil is in India. So if across the world 100 hectares of land is used for oil seeds, 100 hectares, okay, out of that 20% is in India. So whatever is the total area under oil seeds in the world, India accounts for 20%. Similarly, 10% of global production of oil seeds is in India, and similarly 10% of global consumption of oil seeds also happens in India. So 20% of global area under oilseed is in India. 10% of world output and 10% of world consumption related to oilseed is in India. And what is India's rank in production? Our rank is ranked 4th in the world. The first rank is US, then China, then Brazil, then India, which means India is one of the largest producer of oilseeds in the world. And let me tell you, India is also one of the largest importers of oil. The reason being that we consume it a lot. That is the reason actually. So, what is one of the reasons that we are not able to fulfill our domestic demand? We can increase our production even further, but we are not able to do that. You know why? Because see, area wise 20% of global area under oilseed is in India. But that area which is under oilseed cultivation in India, if you see the data, roughly 26% of the area under oilseed in India is irrigated and 24% roughly is irrigated. But 76% is not irrigated, it is rain fed. So what have we seen? That out of the total oilseed area under cultivation in India, 24% is irrigated, assured irrigation, and 76% is rain fed. Now this rain fed area dominates, which means that there is no assurity of the rain in that area because irrigation facilities are not there, and mostly who are the people who are doing this cultivation of oilseed? Small and marginal farmer. So imagine small and marginal farmer without assured water. What will be the kind of productivity? Very low. That is the problem. So total production wise we are good, but if you see per unit land, then the output that we are getting is very less. That is a problem. So let's look at some other aspects related to oilseed in India. Oilseed provides roughly around 12 to 13% of India's energy requirements, dietary energy requirement, and oilseed contribute roughly 8% of India's agricultural export. If you look at some areas, prominent areas of oilseeds in India, you will see Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. They contribute around 78% of India's oilseed production. And there are two schemes, noteworthy schemes, very important schemes which the government of India has launched for oilseeds. The first scheme is National Mission on Edible Oil Palm, and the second is National Mission on Edible Oilseeds in 2024. So first is oil palm and the second is oilseeds. So let's look at the first scheme, which is National Mission on Edible Oil Palm. So Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, they contribute 98% of the total production of oil palm, and recently the government is trying to bring northeast of India also under oil palm. Now it's a centrally sponsored scheme. This National Mission on Edible Oil Palm is a centrally sponsored scheme where the government has allocated a budget of roughly 11,000 crores for the development of oil palm in India. Now, what are the targets of this scheme which the government has launched, National Mission on Edible Oil Palm? The first target is the government of India wants to bring roughly around 6.5 hectares of land. Okay. So, how much land do we want to bring? 6.5 hectares of land under oil palm. So, you need to memorize this. Production of oil palm, Government of India wants to increase it by 28 lakh tons by 29 and 30. Which is by the year 2029 and 30, we want that our production of oil palm in India should become 28 lakh tons. Now, we also want, third component, we also want to maintain consumption level at 19 kg per person per annum. This is the consumption level which we want to maintain. 19 kg per person per annum. Now, the government is also saying that those farmers which are growing those oil palm, which is fresh fruit bunches. So, bacho, what happens is, there are farmers who grow these fresh fruit bunches, then the farmers sell it to those companies who extract oil. Right, so farmers sell this to the companies who extract oil. So government is saying that government is trying to increase the production of oil palm. So what will happen is the prices will come down and farmers will get very less money for that. So government is saying that there must be a price support which should be given to farmer, which means government fixes a price where the government is saying that price is called viability price. So government decides a viability price, and anybody who wants to purchase this oil palm from the farmer will have to pay that price to the farmers. So bacho, we have studied some price support system in India. For example, minimum support price, MSP, price deficiency payment. We have studied, you know, we all study these things in our static agriculture classes. What is minimum support price, what is price deficiency payment, etc. Similarly, there is one more support price called as viability price. This viability price the Government of India fixes so that anybody who buys this oil palm from the farmer will have to pay that price to the farmers, just to ensure the fairness of price. So the government is saying price assistance or assurance to farmers called as viability price for fresh fruit bunches. Now there is another scheme which is National Mission on Edible Oil Seeds. So bacho, this is also centrally sponsored scheme, and the budget that the government has allocated for this is approximately 10,000 crore. Which are the states of India which are leading producer of oil seeds? Rajasthan, MP, Gujarat, Maharashtra. They produce 77% of India's oil seeds, isn't it? Now, what are the components of this National Mission on Edible Oil Seed? How is the government promoting it? So the first component is the government wants to increase the production of primary oil seeds. So which are primary oil seeds? So these are the primary oil seeds. The picture which I showed you, So these are the primary oil seeds. The Government of India wants to increase the production of these primary oil seeds to 69.7 million tons by 2030-31. So for primary oil seeds, we want to increase the production to 69.7 million tons. We also want to increase the area under cultivation of the oil seed, and the government is saying that I also want to establish demonstration centers. So government is establishing demonstration centers to train the farmers of how to use technology for cultivation. Then the government is saying that government has established a portal called as Sathi portal. Sathi means friend. A Sathi portal website has been established which connects seed supplier with the state. So suppose that I am the supplier of good quality seed for oil seed and I want to supply the seed to, let's say, Assam. So there is Sathi portal where state government and farmers can connect with me. I can provide good quality seeds. Now the government also wants to increase varietal replacement rate, VRR. What is varietal replacement rate, bacho? So the meaning of varietal replacement rate is how frequently a farmer adopts a new crop. So for example, there is a oil seed, particular type of oil seed which I am growing now this season. Then what happens is next season, if I get a new variety of seed very frequently or almost like without wasting any time, so I should be able to shift to the new quality seed. So how frequently farmers adopt the new crops, right? So that is called as varietal replacement rate, which means variety. So I replace the old variety with a new variety. So government wants to increase that rate at which the farmers adopt. Number two, which means that government wants to promote faster adoption. Number two is seed replacement rate. Seed replacement rate means in a given area of cultivation, how much area the farmers are devoting to good quality seeds. We have seen that some time back, that suppose that in a given area, 100 hectares of area, in 15 hectares farmers are using good quality seed. So seed replacement rate will be 15 upon 100, right? So government wants to increase the seed replacement rate plus varietal replacement rate. So bacho, so far we have seen multiple schemes related to agriculture. We have seen schemes related to each of the aspects of inputs of agriculture. But the scheme which I am going to teach you now is called an umbrella scheme, and there is something very unique about the scheme which we are going to study. And it will definitely help you understand agriculture from a slightly different perspective. So see what has happened. Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, what they did is, they decided that whatever schemes this ministry is running, because bacho, some schemes of agriculture is being managed by Ministry of Rural Development also. Some schemes are being run by other ministries, one or two, but majority of the schemes are being run by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. So Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare said, whatever schemes they are running for agriculture, they want to club together all the schemes under a big umbrella scheme. That is what they are doing. So what they are doing is, they took all the schemes that they are running, roughly around 10-12 schemes, and they divided the schemes into two parts. So every scheme of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare which was there in India, now it is clubbed together and divided into two parts. One part is called as Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, PMRKVY, and the second part is called Krishonnati scheme. So all the schemes of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, which is basically centrally sponsored, all these are centrally sponsored, okay? So they have been divided into two parts. The first is called as Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana and second is called as Krishonnati scheme. Now, This Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, it is trying to increase agricultural sustainability. Sustainability means we should be able to practice healthy agriculture for very long, generation after generation. And the second scheme, which is Krishonnati scheme, it mostly talks about food security and self-sufficiency. So under this Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, PMRKVY, how many components are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 components. So these 9 schemes have been clubbed together, and this together is called as Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. And which are the schemes which are there in Krishonnati? Under Krishonnati, we have National Food Security and Nutrition Mission. Remember, it promotes food security. So, I have taught National Food Security and Nutrition Mission, that is under this Krishonnati. And that Integrated Horticulture Scheme, that is also under Krishonnati. So, these two are under Krishonnati scheme. And how many schemes are there under Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana? 9 schemes are there. Which are the 9 schemes? Soil health management. I have already taught you the soil health card. So that is that scheme. Second is rain-fed area development. Third is agroforestry. Fourth is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Then agricultural mechanization. Then per drop more crop diversification program. And Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana DPR and accelerator fund for agriculture startup. So let me tell you what are these components. But your first component, I don't need to tell you because you already know that the government collects the soil sample twice a year, and in every 3 years they release soil health card to capture 12 parameters under 5 categories. So far 25 crore soil health cards have already, 25 crore have already been issued. So this first point is done. The second scheme which is under Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana is called as rain-fed area development. So see, the meaning of rain-fed area development is integrated farming system. So what happens under integrated farming system? So there are few things which are promoted in agriculture together. So whenever agriculture is happening, we are trying to promote crop diversification, we are trying to promote soil health, and we are also trying to promote animal husbandry so that efficiency of agriculture can improve. So what does integrated farming means? Cultivation, animal husbandry, and then crop diversification, all the things going on together. And to support this, what the government of India does is, if the farmer is a small and marginal, small farmer, so that small farmer, marginal farmer can do all the things together, government of India provides them some subsidy. So if I am a farmer who is, for example, in a, let's say, normal area where cultivation is happening, a humid area, the government of India will provide me 80,000 rupees one-time subsidy. If I am in a dry area, 1 lakh rupees subsidy will be provided to the farmer. But mind you, which farmer will get the subsidy? Only small and marginal farmer. So if I am a small and marginal farmer in a humid area, I will get 80,000 rupees subsidy one time. And if I am in a dry area, I will get 1 lakh rupees subsidy one time, so that I can do all these integrated practices in my agriculture. So that is the rain-fed development. Next is agroforestry. What is the meaning of agroforestry? So growing of trees, crops and animals, everything together. So suppose I am doing cultivation, I am also doing animal husbandry. Along with that, I will also grow trees in my agriculture field, that is agroforestry. Then Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. So what is happening under Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana? So what happens under this is, let me show you. So suppose that there are farmers who are cultivating their land like this. So these are the plots of land cultivated by various farmers. Government of India says that why can't we bring the farmers together? So for example, let's say that Government of India says minimum, okay, minimum at least there must be 20 farmers who have to come together, and out of these 20 farmers, the number of small and marginal farmer must be 65%, which means out of these 20 farmers, minimum 20 is required. Out of these 20, 13 farmers must be small and marginal. And who are small and marginal farmer? Those who have the land size of less than 2 hectares. So minimum 20 farmers, but out of that 13 should be small and marginal. Then the government says that government wants to provide them support, financial assistance, etc. What kind of support the government wants to provide? 31,500 rupees per hectare for 3 years. So to all these farmers who are there, no, government provides 31,500 rupees to the farmers per hectare for next 3 years. And how much land the farmer needs to bring in total? Because only 20 farmers coming together will not help. These 20 farmers must have to bring at least 20 hectares of land, and it can go up to 1,000 hectares. So these 20 farmers must bring 20 hectares of land. If 20 farmers are not bringing 20 hectares of land, this scheme will not apply. So 20 farmers will have to bring at least 20 hectares of land. Then the government of India will provide 31,500 rupees per hectare for next 3 years. Why is this money given? This scheme is meant to promote organic farming. So starting from seeds to cultivation and then to certification of the crop that it is organic, and then to help the farmers in selling the crop in the market. Every help is given by the government of India. So see what is the support. This is called end-to-end support to organic farmers, from production, processing, certification and marketing. Everything is provided. This is called as Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Okay. The next is agriculture mechanization, including crop residue management. So bacho, I told custom hiring centers have been established by the government of India to provide suitable technology to the farmer. Plus, you might have read in the newspaper that there is a lot of stubble burning which takes place in UP and Haryana and Punjab, which leads to pollution, etc. So instead of blaming the farmer, we need to give them alternative solutions, that what should they do with the residue. See, it's easy to blame, but why not provide a solution? So government of India is trying to provide some machines to the farmer where the farmer can put their residue, and the residue will be converted into some organic product or maybe bioenergy, biomass. So this is that component. Let me show you that. So see guys, so this is called as a happy seeder machine, where the residue of the farmer is kept, and that residue, see, this is the happy seeder machine. The residue is converted into fine particles which is put back in the soil itself. These kind of innovative solutions we need to provide. Next component of Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana is per drop more crop, and we have seen per drop more crop under Krishi Sinchai Yojana, remember, and per drop more crop means we are using drip and sprinkler irrigation, and to help the farmers to purchase the drip and sprinklers, if I am a small and marginal farmer, I get 55% subsidy and general farmer gets 45% subsidy. We have seen that in Krishi Sinchai Yojana. This is the next component. Next is crop diversification program. So what the government of India is doing is, bacho, you must have read that in the green revolution states, we were growing only limited crops like rice and wheat, etc. Very limited crops. If you grow the same crop in the soil multiple times, what happens is the crop extracts similar kind of nutrients, and there is lack of balance in the nutrients of the soil, and soil becomes, loses fertility in the long run. So the government of India is trying to promote sort of diversification in the crops, so that along with rice and wheat, pulses and other crops can also be grown, so that the green revolution states who have become vulnerable, the health of the soil in those states can be improved. Right. So then there is Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana DPR component. Now see, suppose that I am a state with good youth population. I am a state where potentially I know that my state can produce good amount of crops, but I am not able to do. I have good youth population, but it's being wasted. I am not able to use them. I am a state where weather conditions are, slightly vulnerable. So in my state, irrigation facilities are not that great. So I have the potential, because geographically my soil is very good. Youth population is there who can indulge into agriculture, but other factors are not there. So in that case, what the central government does is tells the state government that you please tell me if you fall in this category, then some extra help will be given to you in the form of some extra assistance, training, technology, machines, so that the state can utilize its potential. This point number 8 is that component, and point number 9 is accelerator fund for agricultural startups. So see, I'll tell you. So bacho, imagine that I want to convert tomatoes into tomato ketchup. So can you call me an agripreneur, agriculture related entrepreneur? Yes, 100% yes. Because I want to convert tomatoes into tomato ketchup. So yes, you can call me that. But in order to do it, first of all, I need to get some training done about how to convert tomatoes into tomato ketchup. Some sort of training is required. For that, some money is required. That money is called pre-seed fund. So the government of India is giving up to 5 lakh rupees to the farmers, so that they can make the initial preparations of business. Like for example, if I'm a farmer, I might need to go to some consultant to get ideas like that, right? So this is called pre-seed fund. Now suppose I've got the training. I've got now after getting the training, I need to open a factory. I need to hire some workers. I need to, get electricity connection done, all these things. For that, I need fund. That is called seed fund. 25 lakh rupees is given for that by the government of India. And suppose I have started the production, I am producing tomato ketchup. My tomato ketchup is here in this jar. I am already producing the tomato ketchups. Now, I want that the size of my factory should become bigger. And I should be able to produce more tomato ketchup, more and more tomato ketchup. I want to open more branches in India in various states, which means I want to scale up, I want to grow. The fund that will be provided by the government to me will be called as Agriculture Accelerator Fund 2023. And for that, the government of India has created a corpus of rupees 500 crores. So if I'm a farmer or I'm an entrepreneur who wants to convert basic raw material into finished product like tomatoes into tomato ketchup, etc., then initially I will be given 5 lakh rupees for training, 25 lakh rupees to set up a factory. And then once my factory is set up, etc., if I want to grow big in size, then government of India will give me some fund from here depending on my requirement. So it's not fixed how much money will be given. Like here it is fixed, but here it depends on what size I want to grow. But total fund that the government of India has allocated for acceleration is rupees 500 crores. So what is the meaning of acceleration? Meaning of acceleration is the fund which is required for your fast growth. Okay. So this is also the component of Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. So, bachcho, what have we seen? We have seen that all the schemes of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, they have been divided into two categories. One is called as Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana and one is called as Krishonnati scheme. And in Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, how many components are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 components. And how many components are there? We have studied 2 components. Okay. Now, let's go to the next section, which is animal husbandry. Bachcho, you know that over a period of time, what has happened in India is land has been fragmented. So, earlier we had this land size. Now the land has been fragmented with growing population, and in a fragmented piece of land, productivity is equal to low, disguised unemployment is there. So if you look at the data, you will find that roughly 89.4% farmers of India are small and marginal farmers. So if anybody will ask you that what is the percentage of farmers in India who are considered to be small and marginal or who are vulnerable farmers, so roughly around 89.4, which is 90% farmers of India are small and marginal or vulnerable because their productivity is low. Now we also know that our assured irrigation area under assured irrigation is hardly 55%, which means 45% of land in India is not under assured irrigation, that is rain fed, which means the situation of the farmers, many farmers in India is almost vulnerable. So in that case, if the farmers only depends upon agriculture or growing of crops, their income will not be sufficient. So what do we need? The farmers also require some other sources of income, and that other source of income is animal husbandry. So that is from farming perspective. The second perspective is animal husbandry provides us the required protein that we require. There are people who are non-vegetarians, so their main source of protein is animals. There are people who are vegetarians, their main source of protein is plants. So for people who are non-vegetarians, the main source of protein is animals, and for that also animal husbandry is important. It is also one of the important sectors of the economy for providing jobs, for increasing exports of India, right? So let us see what is the importance of animal husbandry or allied activities. So bachcho, livestock sector is the growth engine of agriculture and allied sector. Why? As I told you that if the farmers only depend on crops, they won't be able to get good income. That is why livestock sector is very important. Now let us look at the importance of livestock sector through numbers. So bachcho, if we look at some important numbers, see, what is the percentage contribution of livestock sector in agriculture and gross value added? So in the field of agriculture, suppose this year we made income of 100 crore in India. What is the contribution of livestock sector or animal husbandry in the agricultural income of India? Roughly around 30 to 31%. That is the contribution. So 30 to 31% of agricultural income that comes in India overall, it is through animal husbandry or livestock. So what is the contribution of livestock in total gross value added of India? 5.5%. what is the percentage of women in livestock farming? So if 100 people are working in the livestock sector, percentage of women is 70%. What is the percentage of rural household dependent on livestock sector for livelihood? So suppose there are 100 rural households. How many households in India or rural families in India depend on livestock sector for their survival? Roughly 70%. 70% of rural households. So you can imagine what is the importance of livestock sector or animal husbandry for survival of 70% of rural population. What is the percentage contribution in the income of small and marginal farmer? I told you that small and marginal farmers are the farmers who have land area of less than 2 hectares. Their income is anyway low. What is the contribution of animal husbandry in their income? Roughly around 16 to 17% is the contribution of animal husbandry in the income of small and marginal farmers. Now that we know the importance of that, see, this is the livestock sector, okay? So now we know the importance, so we should know what are the schemes that has been launched by Government of India related to animal husbandry. So if we look at Ministry of Fishing, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, Ministry of Fishing, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, they have launched a central sector scheme in the year 2014. It's a central sector scheme, which means totally the funding is done by center. The name of the scheme is Rashtriya Gokul Mission. This question was also asked in UPSC Prelims 2025. So Rashtriya Gokul Mission. Now, what are the components of Rashtriya Gokul Mission? Under Rashtriya Gokul Mission, the ultimate aim of the Government of India is to increase the population of indigenous breed of cattle. Because indigenous breed, which means the breed which is specific to India, they adopt well to Indian conditions. So their meat is of good quality and their milk is of good quality. That's why we want to promote them. So now see, the first is to increase the indigenous breed. Now, how do you increase the indigenous breed? So, Government of India, what they do is, for artificial breeding, they supply all the required medicines, chemicals and everything to the farmers in their doorstep. So, government goes house to house and to the farmers, the government gives the artificial insemination related, all the chemicals and medicines are provided to the farmer. But if the farmers are not able to do artificial reproduction of these animals, then the Government of India has started a concept of Gokul Gram. So Gokul Grams are these centers where the conservation of indigenous breed is done on scientific line. There are doctors, there are medical professionals who help in the breeding of indigenous cattle through Gokul Gram. So either the farmers have to do it at home or it is done in the Gokul Gram. But the real aim is to increase the breeding. What will happen because of that? Because of that, actually the farmers' income will increase, right? Poverty will come down, inequality will come down. So that is why this scheme is important. Now, in this year's economic survey, Bachcho and Budget, lot of emphasis has been given to fishing. So let me tell you some data related to fishing. See, India's global rank in terms of production of fish is ranked second. India is the second best country in the world in terms of fish production, and 8% of global production of fish comes from India. India contributes roughly 8% in global production. Now, what is the contribution of fishing in the Indian economy specifically? So, fishing contributes roughly around 1.09% in India's gross value added. It contributes around 6.7% in agriculture gross value added, and fishing also creates employment of roughly around 3 crore. 3 crore individuals get their employment through fishing. So now let's look at some of the schemes which are related to fishing in India. So the first important scheme which the government launched is called Blue Revolution, and this was launched in 2014-15. And what is the allocation for Blue Revolution? Rupees 3,000 crore. What is Blue Revolution? Now try to understand this so that you get the whole picture. Dekhiye, the Government of India said that they want to first increase the production of fish, and then they said that it should benefit the farmer. And that is why Blue Revolution was launched. But the problem that happened in Blue Revolution was that there are two things here. The government is saying, I will increase the production of fish and productivity of fish in next 5 years. It was said in 2014. The government said that 2014 to 2019, I will increase the production of fish. Okay, production of fish suppose increases. Where will you store the fish? Because it's perishable. And after storing, how will you package the fish? How will you sell the fish? So which means that government's only focus, most of the focus of the government under Blue Revolution was increasing the production, but the storage, packaging, distribution, this was slightly neglected, which means infrastructure part was neglected, which the government understood. So what did the government do after 2014? Then the government launched a program which is called as, see, this is the program, Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund 2018-19. This is the fund which the government of India made. Now what is this fund? So bacho, imagine that I am into fish production. I want to create a cold storage facility for storing fish. And the cost of construction of the cold storage facility is 1 crore rupees. So now the government of India says that if the cost is 1 crore, 20% of the cost should come from my pocket. So if the cost is 1 crore, 20 lakh should come from my pocket and remaining 80 lakh will be given by government of India. 20 lakh from my pocket, 80 lakh will be given by government of India. How does the government give this remaining 80 lakh? In the form of loan to me. Loan will be given to me, and suppose market rate of interest is 10%, government will give that to me at interest subvention of 3%. So 10 minus 3, 7%. I will get interest subsidy of 3%. But I can get only up to 80% of the total cost as loan. 20% I have to contribute from my pocket. Now, do I need to give collateral? If I am taking loan up to 5 crore rupees, I don't have to give collateral. After 5 crore, I have to give collateral. So this is the scheme. And who is the financing institution under it? NABARD and all scheduled commercial banks. Okay, NABARD and scheduled commercial banks. And repayment period is normally 10 years with 2-year grace period. So huge repayment period. So what is the aim of the scheme? To modernize the infrastructure for fish production, storage, transportation and marketing. And what is the fund that the government has kept for the scheme? Roughly around 7,500 crore rupees. So this is called as Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund. Now let's look at the second scheme. It is called as Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, MSY. This is a unique scheme. Government of India has kept 20,000 crore for this scheme. This scheme has two components. One is central sector, one is centrally sponsored, which means some component of the scheme is financed only by center, whereas some components of the scheme is financed by both center and state. So what are the targets of the scheme? So this Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, it tries to fill the gap in fish production, productivity, quality and technology. So bacho, suppose fish production is happening, but productivity is not there, which means that we are producing, but we are not hitting the potential. We should be able to produce 100 kg, we are producing 2 kg. And so that gap is there. And we are also not using good technology. So these things should be removed first of all. That is the first target. Second target is to double the income of fishermen. So overall, the government of India wants to double the income of farmers also and to double the income of fishermen also and to increase employment. Number 3 is post-harvest management, which means government is saying that once the fish production has occurred, the storage, packaging, transportation should be proper. There should be no wastage. And the beautiful part of this scheme is something else. The beautiful part is the government has created a digital platform called National Fisheries Digital Platform. This platform has been created by government, which connects the fish producers. So suppose I am the fish producer, I need some workers. Where will I get the worker? I need some investors, right? I need some storage facility. Where will I get? So there is this digital platform where all the producers, workers, infrastructure like cold storage provider, packaging facility provider, everybody can interact with each other. So that can reduce the wastage of the fish output in India. So that is the scheme. Now, so how many schemes have we seen, bacho, in fisheries? We have seen Blue Revolution. Then we have seen Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund. Then we have seen Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Under Matsya Sampada Yojana only, bacho, there is one scheme called as Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sah Yojana. This scheme was started in 2022. It's a central sector component. Let's repeat the name. The name of this scheme is Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sah Yojana. Okay. Now what happens under this scheme? So this is actually a part of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana only. I told you na, Matsya Sampada has central sector and centrally sponsored, both the components. This is central sector. What does it try to do? But you understand, no, that most of the Indian economy is informal in nature, which means we are not registered. If you are not registered, you will never get bank loan. You will face a lot of problem in getting government schemes also. So the government of India is saying that all the farmers in India who are engaged into fisheries or fish cultivation, the government will register them so that they can get finance from bank, they can get the benefit of government schemes, they can get good technology. So basically, formalization or making the registration process easy for the fishing community is the target of this scheme. Okay, so now the next scheme is Amrit Sarovar 2022. So, bachcho, what happened is Government of India launched a program in 2022 called Amrit Sarovar, and in 2026 budget, the scheme has been expanded. What is the scheme? What is Amrit Sarovar? So, see, under Amrit Sarovar, what we do is we select 1 acre ka pond. So, Government of India actually creates a pond of 1 acre. 1 acre land is taken, it is converted into pond, and in that pond at least 10,000 cubic meter of water is put. And which are the trees which are planted next to it? Neem, peepal and banyan. These trees are planted next to it. Now, what is the government planning to do? Government says if we do this, then there are two things we can do here. Number one, we can do fisheries, and number two, it will reduce the water distress in rural areas. So, Government of India is saying that in every district in rural India, at least 75 such ponds will be created. And government's target is to create minimum 500 such reservoirs in the next few years. Now, government is saying that once these type of reservoirs are created, then we will connect it, we will do fishing here, and the ponds will be connected to some startups, farmer producer organization, so that they can also do the marketing of the fish. And this scheme is being managed by Ministry of Rural Development, right? So what have we seen? That there are multiple ministries involved in agriculture. First is Ministry of Rural Development, as you can see, Amrit Sarovar. Then you have Ministry of Fishing, Animal Husbandry and Dairying. Then you have Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. So all of them are working together, right? Now, there is this scheme which was launched by Government of India in the previous budget, which is 2025. What is the name of the scheme? Atmanirbharta in Pulses. So, Government of India launched a scheme called Mission for Atmanirbharta in Pulses. See, you know that there are two types of people in India. One who are vegetarian, who will consume pulses, soya product for protein, and the other people are non-vegetarian, who will consume mostly eggs, meat, fish, chicken, etc. for protein. And we know that according to Dr. Angus Deaton, who is a Nobel laureate in economics, he has said that now the people in developing countries, including India, now they are eating less of calorie and they are eating more of protein, fruits and vegetable. So we know that we are one of the largest producer of pulses in the world, but we are also one of the largest consumers. So there is also a problem in India. We consume a lot, we produce a lot. So that is why the government thought, why not introduce new variety of pulses in India. We can improve the seed quality so that production can increase, productivity can increase, and we can also add some new features in the seeds so that they should not be damaged due to climate change and pest attack. So the Government of India launched a program called Mission for Atmanirbharta in Pulses, where we are targeting tur, udad and masoor. 3 pulses are being specifically targeted, and we are trying to create climate resilient seeds, and we are trying to create seeds which are more resistant to climate change, and we are trying to increase their commercial availability. We are also trying to increase their protein content, okay, and we are trying to increase the productivity, and we are trying to provide post-harvest storage and management, which means if pulses product, see the component number 1, 2, 3, here we are focusing on the quality of seed. But when the production will rise, we also need a place to store them. So next is post-harvest storage. But in doing all this, if the production of pulses will rise, we have to make sure farmers get good price. So remunerative price should also be given to farmer. Otherwise, there will be a price crash. And Bacho, recently it was in news, Makhana board, which has been established in Bihar. You know that Darbhanga region of Bihar produces 80% of India's makhanas, right? So what are these makhanas? Makhanas are also called as fox nuts. And if you see the quality of makhanas, they are very low in calorie, rich in antioxidants, rich in magnesium, rich in potassium and rich in phosphorus. But mind you, excess eating of makhanas can also lead to, as per some reports, can also lead to some problems related to stones in kidney, etc. I've just read that report in a newspaper. So just be careful, and excess eating of anything can be dangerous. But if you eat makhanas regularly and normally, not excess, like not whole day, but whenever you feel like munching something in your UPSC preparation, you can have makhanas in a controlled amount. So then it's going to be beneficial for you. So, but whenever you eat something, do make sure, because you prepare for UPSC, you are informed, you are well-learned person. So you should Google and check the amount of food quantity that you should be consuming. It will give you good ideas. So the government of India has given geographical indication GI tag to makhanas in the year 2022. So which means that makhanas has been given special status. And who gives the GI tag in India? DPIIT, okay? And government of India has established makhana board to increase the production, processing and marketing. So production of makhana needs to increase, processing needs to increase and marketing needs to increase. That is why the government of India established makhana board. So bachcho, these were the schemes and the details related to agriculture. I hope that you would have understood the various ways in which the government of India has framed policy, and each policy is trying to solve one unique problem of agriculture. So I suggest that while you are watching this video, and I'm sure you would have done that, if not then you should, while watching this video you should take some running notes, because I tried to present it in a way which is more exam oriented so that there is no extra literature here. It can help you not only in prelims but also in mains, because the content for agriculture is almost similar. You just need to know how to use that. So do revise it before your exam. Some data, numbers and facts are also there, and in the schemes try to understand the soul of the scheme as well along with data. So Vacho, I hope that you have understood the various nuances of agriculture well, and I hope that you have been able to see that what are the different ways in which the government of India is trying to help the farmers through various schemes and what are the latest developments. So I'm sure that you'll revise it one time before your prelims and of course before your mains, because the same content is applicable for mains as well. So now we are going to move to the next chapter. So Vacho, now we are going to learn about infrastructure. So see, the source of this lecture would be economic survey, which is chapter number 9. It says investment and infrastructure, strengthening connectivity, capacity and competitiveness. That is number 1. Number 2 is last 2 years of economic survey and budget, of course. So this year's economic survey, last year economic survey, this year's budget, last year budget, as well as newspapers from at least last 1.5 to 2 years. So this is what we are going to see in terms of the new developments which is relevant for prelims and mains. So Bacho, see, one of the things that the government of India wants currently is high growth. We all know that. How do you achieve high growth? One of the ways to achieve high growth is through infrastructure. So see, for example, if you want to grow agriculture, what do you need to provide? You need to provide irrigation facility, storage facility, transportation, cold storage, all these things, right? Similarly, to develop industries, what do we need to provide? Water, electricity, roads, storage facility, waste management facility, all these things we need to provide. For services as well, we need to provide, for example, to promote IT service, we need to provide IT park, electricity, basic requirements. So you see, to promote any sector in the economy, what is the most basic thing which is required? It is infrastructure actually. So government of India is also making the same plan. Government is saying that since we need high economic growth requires infrastructure. So government of India has launched a program called as National Infrastructure Pipeline, under which all the infrastructure which is required for high growth is being currently created. Now, in order to promote infrastructure, in order to create infrastructure, what do we need? We need funds, money. So which means capital is required, fund is required. So who provides the fund? Central government, state government and public-private partnership. This is how we are trying to arrange the fund. There is one new method of arranging the fund these days. It is called as monetization, National Monetization Pipeline. So what is the meaning of monetization? But the meaning of monetization is, suppose the government of India has to construct a road. So either government can take out the money from its own pocket through budgetary allocation. But if government does not have sufficient fund, what will the government do? If government has some extra property, for example, maybe a building, government can put that on rent. Railway station, airport, etc. can be put up on rent, and the rent money that we get, that can be used to construct new infrastructure. So that concept is called National Monetization Pipeline. So either you provide the money that you have in your pocket, or if you don't have that money in your pocket, then you rent out your properties, get the money and provide the money for new infrastructure. So that concept of renting the property so that we can create new infrastructure is called as National Monetization Pipeline. Now, so how does the center and the state provide fund? The center and the state government, they are providing fund through something called as effective CAPEX. What is the meaning of that? The meaning of that is, in every budget you will see that the central government allocates some fund for infrastructure called CAPEX. And the central government also provides some grants to the state, and if that grant is also used for infrastructure development, so that is also added in the CAPEX, which is together called effective CAPEX. Effective CAPEX means CAPEX plus grant in aid provided by center to state, which is used for infrastructure development. So this year it is approximately 15 lakh crores. Now, bachcho, there has been one assessment which has been done by Niti Aayog that between 2021 to 2030, India roughly requires 185 to 200 lakh crore rupees for infrastructure development under NIP. So we need this kind of money here. And you know that that money cannot be only sourced, or that money cannot only come from this, because our yearly allocation for effective capex is like 13, 14 or 15 lakh crore, which is not sufficient. At this speed, we will take another 12 to 15 years to fulfill our target of infrastructure investment. So Government of India must use NMP also, National Monetization Pipeline, and government should also use the public-private partnership in infrastructure development. So what is the role of public-private partnership? Our current sources of finance are not sufficient, hence we require public-private partnership as well. This is the background. Now, in this background, let us try to see what are the new developments that have happened. So, from economic survey and budget, the first thing that comes out in front of us is that are the banks giving loan for infrastructure projects in India? This is that data which I have taken from economic survey. So, if you look at power sector got the maximum loan from banks, followed by road sector, followed by telecom. So, if UPSC will ask you this, that which are the sectors which got the maximum money for infrastructure development, it's power sector followed by road and telecom. Number two, there is a World Bank report of 2024 where the World Bank has said that India is currently ranked 5th country in the world in terms of private investment in infrastructure. So we are the 5th best country in the world where private sector is contributing in infrastructure development, and in South Asia we are number 1 country in the world in terms of participation of private sector in infrastructure development. Now, so I told you that what are the sources of infrastructure finance? First is central government, second is state government, and third is public-private partnership. And we have another one which is called as rent model, national monetization pipeline. So suppose that government and private sector together want to create a project. For example, a road has to be constructed where government and private sector both are collaborating with each other. What is the name of that model? It is called as public-private partnership. But how do we review the public-private partnership proposal, that should we go for it, should we not go for it? So whenever a public-private partnership model is brought up, a project is taken up, it is reviewed by public-private partnership appraisal committee. They are the ones who decide whether a project should be taken up under public-private partnership or not. Who are the members of this committee? Public-private partnership appraisal committee. So there is a chairperson who is basically the secretary of Department of Economic Affairs. Then there are other members also, and who are these members? Secretaries from Department of Legal Affairs, secretary from sponsoring ministry or department. So for example, a road has to be constructed, so sponsoring ministry becomes Ministry of Road and Transportation. If telecom tower has to be put, the sponsoring ministry becomes Ministry of Telecom, and CEO of Niti Aayog. So these are the members and this is the chairperson, okay, Public-Private Partnership Appraisal Committee. Now, so as we were talking about National Infrastructure Pipeline, so let me give you some updates from Economic Survey and Budget related to National Infrastructure Pipeline. What did I tell you? What is NIP? All the major infrastructure projects of this country currently is being developed under umbrella scheme called as National Infrastructure Pipeline. Basically, NIP was launched in 2019. It was designed in 2019 but launched from 2020. Now, currently if you see NIP, National Infrastructure Pipeline, the Government of India has listed roughly around 13,000 projects in 79 subsectors. What is the meaning of subsector? Energy, roads, railways, power, all these are subsectors. And what is the sector? Infrastructure sector. So within infrastructure, what are the important things that we want to do? They are called as subsectors. For example, energy is a subsector. And what is the meaning of projects? Solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, thermal energy, biomass energy, nuclear energy. These are projects. So various type of projects, okay. So currently we are running 13,000 projects, 79 subsectors, and the government says that the total cost of running this project is 168.93 lakh crore. So between 2019 to 2025, phase 1 of National Infrastructure Pipeline has been initiated, and in this phase the number of projects taken up by the government is 13,000 crore and the subsector is 79, where the total expenditure is roughly around 169 lakh crore. You know something, in the year 2019 when this plan was made, the total estimated expenditure here was 111 lakh crores, but now it has been updated to 168 or 169 lakh crore. Now, the Government of India has set a new target in the budget that between 26 to 2030, the government is launching National Infrastructure Pipeline 2.0, second phase. First phase ended in 25. In the second phase, the government's target is to spend 17 lakh crore, and create 852 new projects. So which means that between the year 2019 to 2030, what is the expected expenditure of the government on NIP? 168 roughly plus 17 is equal to 185 lakh crore. See, this is 168 or 169 approximately, and this is 17. So roughly 185 or 186 lakh crore. And what is the number of projects? Roughly 14,000 projects. This is the plan of the government. Now, how does the government track that? What is the progress of the project? Government tracks the progress of the project through India Infrastructure Investment Grid. All these projects are tracked by the government, okay? So, how much money is the government going to spend by the year 2030? Roughly 185 to 186 lakh crore, all right? Out of this 185 to 186 lakh crore, maximum amount of money is going to be spent on energy. So, how much money out of 186 lakh crore? The 186 lakh crore is the fund which the government is going to spend on infrastructure. 24% of this fund will be spent on energy, 19% on road, 16% on urban infrastructure and 13% on railway, which means 70% of the fund of NIP is going to be spent on 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 sectors only, that is NIP. Now let us go and see what is National Monetization Pipeline, which is NMP. So now bacho, under NMP, as you can see, National Monetization Pipeline, so this NMP was actually planned by the Government of India in 2021. Initially, the government planned it between 2021 to 2024. And I told you, what does the government do under NMP? The Government of India takes various properties, brownfield properties like roads, railway stations, airport, and gives it on rent to private sector for fixed time period like 45 years. In that time period, the private sector takes care of the property and government collects the rent. So between 21 to 24, through National Monetization Pipeline, government wanted to collect a rent of rupees 6 lakh crore. But in real, we were able to collect a rent of rupees 4.3 lakh crore only. This was NMP 1.0. Now in NMP 2.0, which is the second phase, we are running it between 2025 to 2030. Between these years, the government wants to collect a rent of roughly 16.7 lakh crores. So earlier we were able to collect 4.3, now we are going to collect this much. And where will this money be used? This money will be used to construct new infrastructure in India. So that is another development. Now, there is a concept which the government is using currently, which is called as REITs and InvITs. So these are the 3 new concepts that I want to share with you, which has been in the news. And it is also given in this year's economic survey and budget. The first concept is called as Infrastructure Investment Trust, and the second concept is called as Real Estate Investment Trust, and the third concept is called as Small and Medium Real Estate Investment Trust. So see, this is InvITs, this is called REITs, and this is called SM REITs. These 3 we are going to study. So let me tell you the story of this one. So bacho, now what happens is, see this example please. So imagine that we are taking National Highway Authority of India. Now National Highway Authority of India has a road, okay, is the owner of the road. So now National Highway Authority of India, what they do is, they take up this road and they transfer the ownership of road in the name of an organization called InvITs. And who establishes InvIT? NHAI only. So suppose bacho, I open a company. So who will be the owner of the company? I will be the owner of the company. But I have opened a company. Like Tata Group has opened so many companies, Tata Automobile, Tata Power, etc. Right? So NHAI opens an organization called InvITs. InvITs is a trust. So National Highway Authority of India gives the road on the basis of trust to InvITs. Now, since it's an organization, there must be somebody who is taking care of the organization. So the name of that person who is taking care is called trustee. So InvITs is a trust. And who are the people who take care of it? Trustee. So the road has been transferred in the name of InvIT. Now, this InvIT has one property called as road, and the trustee is the caretaker of that road. Let's try to understand in a layman language. Now, the Government of India says that this road requires repair and maintenance. For example, this is old road by Government of India. And suppose that 80% of the road is in working condition, 20% repair is required. So whatever roads you are taking here, at least 80% should be working. Only 20% should be, repair, etc., etc. But 80% should be working, not less than that. Now see what happens. This is that road. So now the government of India says, I have to repair the road. What is the repair cost of the road? Suppose 10 crore rupees. Repair and maintenance for next 1 year, 10 crore. And the government says, since repair and maintenance is going to cost me 10 crore, I will collect this money from public through toll tax. But government says, I will also collect something extra, some profit. So suppose the government will collect extra profit of 1.12 crore. Matlab 1 crore 12 lakh rupees extra. So total cost of maintenance 10 crore and total profit that the government will collect is 1 crore 12 lakh rupees extra. Now, this will be collected through toll tax. So now government of India is saying that if I have to repair this road, why should I put money from my pocket? So government is saying that in my pocket there is no money. Because if I put money, I will have to take loan, bank loan, etc. I don't want to take it. So government says, let me invite public and investors and let me ask them if they want to contribute this money. So now see, bacho, what the government of India does. So how much money does the government of India require for the repair and maintenance? 10 crore rupees. So now government is saying that they want to raise this 10 crore from public. So government says that they want to raise this 10 crore rupees from 1,000 people. So bacho, how much money does the government want to raise? 10 crore. This is 10 crore and government wants to raise this from how many people? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, aise karke 1,000 people, okay? 1,000 people, 10 crore. So from each individual, how much money does the government want? See, from each individual, government wants 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means 1 lakh per individual. See, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. Now, how does the government take the money from the public? Government issues a piece of paper called unit. This is 1 unit. Now, what is the value, face value of 1 unit? The face value of 1 unit is 1 lakh rupees. And the government of India sells this piece of paper to 1,000 people or investors who are interested in investing. And the government of India keeps collecting this money. See, this money is coming from each individual who is buying the unit, 1 lakh rupees. And the government keeps on putting this money in this box. So, for example, let's say 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. Government is collecting and 10 crore rupees done. Now, these people are called investors or unit holders. Now the government of India makes a promise to them that since you are unit holders, whenever the government makes profit by collecting toll tax, 90% of the profit of toll tax will be distributed amongst unit holders. So, bacho, how much profit is the government collecting here? Which I told you 1.12 crore. Remember, 10 crore is the cost of maintenance and 1 crore 12 lakh rupees is the profit which the government will collect. So, if you calculate 90% of 1 crore 12 lakh, you will get approximately 1 crore. So whatever profit government collects, 10% profit government keeps in the pocket. So for example, 10% profit government will keep in the pocket, which is 12 lakh rupees. And remaining 1 crore rupees government will distribute amongst how many people? 1,000 people. 1 crore will be distributed in 1,000 people. So bacho, if you distribute 1 crore between 1,000 people, how much each individual is going to get? Each individual is going to get 10,000 rupees. This 10,000 rupees will be given to any holder of this unit and that 10,000 rupees is called dividends. Now, what happens is, so how many people are engaged in this project? One is National Highway Authority of India, who was the actual owner of the property. Then you have a trustee, then you have a trust, and you also have investors. These are called investors. But bacho, don't you think that to manage this entire scheme, there is a requirement of some manager also? So yes, there is a manager also who makes sure that the investors get their dividend on time, the road is managed properly, etc. That is also there. So what have we learned? We have learned that this entire scheme is called InvIT, where what we do is owner of the property, he opens a trust, then a trustee is appointed, a manager is appointed, and there are investors. Now government of India comes here and government says that investors are earning this dividend, right? 10,000 rupees per unit. On this dividend, the government of India charges income tax from the investors because investors are getting the money. Suppose I am the investor who is holding this unit. The face value of the unit is 1 lakh rupees. Dividend is 10,000 rupees. So government of India will charge a tax on this dividend called as income tax. And the face value of this unit is 1 lakh rupees. So I am the investor. Suppose I sell my unit to you. And suppose I sell my unit at 1 lakh 5,000 rupees to you. Right? So did I sell this at a higher price? I bought it at 1 lakh, but I'm selling it at 1 lakh 5,000 rupees. So on that extra 5,000, government will charge capital gains tax from me. So on these InvIT units, 2 types of taxes are charged. When dividend is received, income taxes are charged on the dividend. When these InvITs are sold and bought, then government of India charges capital gains tax from the seller if the seller makes some capital gains. And these type of units are traded in the stock exchange, which means they are completely tradable and they are liquid. Okay, so this concept is called liquid. Now, bacho, same example, if you remove road from here and suppose you open a big commercial building, suppose government of India has a big commercial building like a shopping complex which the government has constructed, and government gives this shopping complex on rent to somebody. Let's say big brands are coming and they're taking it on rent. So this toll tax which government was collecting on road, now from shopping complex, government will not collect toll tax, government will collect rent. So on maintenance and repair of this building, suppose government has to spend 10 crore and this 1.12 crore will be the rent that the government will collect. So when you replace the word road with properties of the government, like for example a commercial complex, a shopping complex, where the government is doing the repair and maintenance and plus government is also collecting some extra rupee which is the rent from this place, then government can again sell units to the investors, and whatever rent the government is collecting, that money can go to the investor in the form of dividend. But it is compulsory that whatever extra profit the government is making on the property, whether it is toll tax or rent, 90% of that should be given to the investors. So when you replace the word road with building or commercial complex, the name of the concept becomes REITs. REITs. So what are the things that we have learned? This is a concept called as InvIT. Next concept is a concept called as REIT. In InvITs, what are the properties that government rents out? So government, for example, maintains a road and collects toll tax. That is called InvIT. And other properties that the government of India actually repairs and maintains, and investors are invited to invest, suppose commercial complexes, etc., then it is called REITs. What is the meaning of SM REITs, small and medium REITs? So, bacho, we have seen that government of India can take a commercial property, and in this commercial property, government can take rent by renting it out, isn't it? So, when the government of India rents out small commercial properties, not big one, but small commercial properties, whose value is between 50 crore to 500 crore. So when small commercial properties are rented, when not the big one, when big ones are rented, that is called REITs. When small commercial properties whose value is 50 to 500 crore, that is rented, that is called as SM REITs. And in SM REITs, it is compulsory that the number of investors here should be minimum 200. Government should definitely involve 200 investors when the government is renting out small properties. When government is renting out big properties, the number of investors is not fixed. There could be 5 investors, there could be 10 investors, but when government is renting out small properties, more investors should be involved. So that concept is called as SM REITs. Are you noticing something, bacho? That these are the 3 models in which the government of India is renting out its property. It looks as if government is renting out properties. Hence, these 3 are also called as monetization. Bacho, what is the meaning of monetization? The meaning of monetization is that whenever government of India takes its properties and converts it into regular source of income or money. So from all these 3 things, which is InvITs, REITs and SM REITs, what is the government doing? Taking up properties and then collecting toll tax or rent, which is government is using its property to get regular source of income. That is why these 3 are also called as monetization, part of monetization plan of the government, which means these 3 are now a component of national monetization pipeline. So if you look at the national monetization pipeline, and if UPSC will ask you the question, what are the elements of national monetization pipeline, you should say there are 3 elements basically. The first is InvITs, second is REITs, and third is SM REITs. As per current affairs, these 3 have been included in NMP, National Monetization Pipeline. Earlier, what was the formula of National Monetization Pipeline? Earlier, under National Monetization Pipeline, there used to be only one formula, which is TOT, Toll Operate Transfer. But now the government is removing toll operate and transfer, and in place of toll operate transfer, government is using these 3. So in future you will not see TOT, in future you will see only this. So the monetization is the conversion of government properties into sources of income. So bacho, for this year you should focus on these elements for infrastructure. So these are the important things that we had to do for infrastructure. Now let us move on to the next topic. So bacho, now let us look at some of the most important developments related to banking sector, so that it should be helpful for us for both prelims and mains. Now see, one of the most generic things that I have taken from the economic surveys, that which are the sectors of India which have taken maximum bank loan in last 1 year, okay, in 25-26 basically. So if you look at the sectors which have taken bank loan at a very high rate of growth, so you will see that the number one is personal loans. There has been a huge growth in the rate of taking personal loans by the people for various purposes. It could be education, health, or to buy assets. The second most high increasing loan in India is loan related to services, and the third is loan related to agriculture. So these are three types of loans which saw the highest rate of growth. Okay, personal loan followed by services followed by agriculture. In terms of industries, you will see that the MSMEs, small and medium industries, they have taken loan at a higher speed compared to large industries. Large industries mostly it's given in the budget. Large industries have taken less bank loan and they are more shifting towards bonds. They issue bonds and take more shares. They issue shares, IPOs, and they take more capital. So large companies are moving towards bonds and shares, and small companies are mostly taking bank loans. So these are some of the trends that you need to memorize from UPSC perspective. Now, bacho, let us look at something which is technical in the field of banking but very easy. So, for example, what do you mean by asset of a bank? So, bacho, asset of a bank is that capital which helps the bank to earn some income. So, for example, suppose that bank has given 1000 rupees as loan, that is called as asset. So, asset of the bank can be of two types. So, suppose there is a bank which has given 1000 rupees as loan. Out of that 1000 rupees, 900 rupees is such that the bank is able to get its EMI back on the 900 rupees, but 100 rupees is such that the bank is not getting its EMI back and neither there is any information. So what is the meaning of asset of a bank? Asset of a bank is the loan that the bank has given which has the potential to earn some income. So that asset of the bank can be divided into two parts. One is standard assets. Standard asset means those loans on which bank is regularly getting its EMIs and rate of interest. That is called regular asset. There is second type of asset which is called as special mention account. What are these? Suppose bank has given some loan, but the EMIs have not been received by the bank for 30 days. So that type of loan is called SMA 0. If the EMI is not received by the bank for, let's say, 30 days to 60 days, that is called SMA 1. If the bank has not received the EMI for 60 to 90 days, then it is called SMA 2. So it does not mean that the EMI will never come. It means that there is a red flag and there might be some challenges. So the asset of a bank is of two types. A standard asset, which is contains of two types. First is regular asset, second is SMA. And the moment the loan crosses 90-day mark, which means bank has not received the EMIs for 91 days, for example. Suppose bank has given loan, but EMIs have not been received for 91 days. The moment it becomes 91 days, it is called NPA, non-performing assets. And NPAs again are of three types. One is substandard asset. So whenever the borrower does not pay the EMI for 91 days, this is NPA. If the loan remains in NPA for up to 12 months, it is called as substandard asset. If the loan remains in NPA category for more than 12 months, it is called doubtful assets. And if the bank feels that money cannot be received or EMI cannot be taken or the principal cannot be taken back, there are some challenges, etc. So then the bank calls it as loss asset. So which means that asset of a bank is of two types, standard and NPA. Standard is of two types, regular and SMA, and NPA is of three types, substandard, doubtful and loss. So whenever bank is not able to get its EMI back, what are the methods in which bank can recover its money? So one of the very famous method is Lok Adalats. So if the loan that the bank has given is up to 20 lakh rupees, then it can be settled mutually in the Lok Adalat. The decisions of the Lok Adalat are binding, where two parties will mutually settle their grievances, the borrower and the lender. But suppose that the loan amount is little higher, then what are the other options that you have? So one of the options is debt recovery tribunals. So bacho, for example, suppose that I have taken a bank loan of, let's say, 100 rupees, but I have given collateral of 90 rupees only. In this case, even if the bank wants to take my collateral, what will they get? Only 90. So in that case, the settlement is done in debt recovery tribunals. So whenever the collateral is less and the loan is more, recovery is done through DRTs. There is another method of recovery. Whenever I take a bank loan and I have given equal amount of collateral, then the bank can recover the money by taking my collateral or capturing my collateral through a method called SARFAESI. Okay. And then recently we have introduced Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, where if I don't return the loan of a bank, etc., then the first effort of the bank is not to sell my company or my properties, but the first effort of the bank is to change the management and revive the company and then recover the money. But if revival is not possible, then of course my company will be sold. So what are the various ways of recovery of money? Lok Adalat, Debt Recovery Tribunal, SARFAESI and Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Which is the most successful method so far in India currently? Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code is the most successful, where the success rate is close to 30 to 35%. Then second comes SARFAESI, where the success rate is almost 22%. And then comes Debt Recovery Tribunal, where the success rate is approximately 7%. And then Lok Adalat, where the success rate is roughly 3%. So this is the success rate, 30 to 35%, and this is roughly around 20 to 25%. This is the success rate of all this. Okay. Now, let us look at another development which has happened recently in the Indian banking sector. But you understand that whenever a bank gives loan, a bank would always like to recover its EMIs. Otherwise, what will happen is that bank's lending capacity goes down. Suppose you are a bank, I take money from you, but I don't return your money. How will you operate then? Because the money which you gave me as loan, that money might belong to some depositor who has deposited some cash in the bank, right? So whenever somebody deposits cash in the bank, bank gives it as loan. But if people default on the loan, then bank suffers badly. In India, banks have been suffering since the year 2008-9 continuously. Only in the recent times, after Dr. Raghuram Rajan performed Asset Quality Review AQR in 2015, the banks have started to regain their health. And finally, with the effort of RBI and the Government of India, since 2015 till now, finally our banks have become healthy. How do we know our banks have become healthy? Look at some numbers which is given in the Economic Survey and Budget this year. So this is scheduled commercial banks, which is private banks, and this is public sector banks. So let us compare them. So if you look at gross NPA, what is gross NPA? The total NPA of the bank. So the gross NPA of scheduled commercial banks, mostly private banks in India, is 2.05%, public sector bank 2.3%. Both are doing well. Then look at provisioning coverage ratio. So provisioning coverage ratio is that money which the bank has to keep aside if the loan of the bank has become NPA. So suppose I am a bank and I have given 100 rupees as loan, but this money is not coming back. It is NPA. So I have to keep aside 70, 80 or 90% of the money separately so as to face this burden of NPA. So this money which the bank keeps aside, and from where does the bank bring the money to keep aside? From its profit. So if the bank gives loan and this loan is not coming back, then from the other profit of the bank has to keep aside 70-80% of the money as provisioning coverage ratio. So our private banks are maintaining provisioning coverage ratio of 93%, public sector bank 94%, which means if 100 rupees is the NPA, our banks are so healthy that they are able to keep 93-94 rupees aside through some other sources to be able to face the loss. It's a great thing. Look at NNPA. Net NPA. What is the formula of net NPA? So basically, NNPA is equal to GNPA minus provisioning coverage ratio. So our NNPA is 0.48% for scheduled commercial banks, private banks, and for public sector banks 0.45%. Again, that is also very healthy. Now look at capital to risk weighted asset ratio, CRAR or CAR, Basel norms. So for our private banks, it's 17.24%, public sector bank 15.96%, which means if you look at all the indicators of the banking currently, it is in healthy shape. It is extremely healthy. Okay. So now let us look at the next part which came in the current affairs, which is called as priority sector lending. Now priority sector lending means that whenever a bank gives loan, a part of the loan has to be given to those sectors which has been identified as priority sector by RBI. So if you take domestic commercial banks and foreign banks with branches more than 20 in India. So all the domestic commercial banks plus foreign banks who are operating in India but who have branches more than 20, they have to give 40% of their loan as priority sector. Foreign banks in India whose number of branches is less than 20, they have to also give 40% of their loan as priority sector. Regional rural banks have to give 75% of their loan as priority sector. Small finance bank, they earlier had to give 75%, now they have to give 60% of their loan as priority sector. And primary urban cooperative banks, they have to give almost 60% of their loan as priority sector. So these are some of the numbers that we need to update ourselves. Now, bacho, so what happened is in the year 2025, there has been a cooperative Mahakumbh that was organized in India, in Delhi, and the government of India did a Delhi Declaration 2025 for urban cooperative banks in India. And what did the government say in that declaration? A roadmap was given in the Delhi Declaration that how should India develop cooperative banks, urban cooperative banks. So it was decided in the Delhi Declaration that at least there will be one urban cooperative bank per city with population greater than 2 lakhs within 5 years. So if there is a city in India where the population of the city is more than 2 lakh people are staying in that city, then the government is saying that within next 5 years, every such city should have at least one urban cooperative bank. And number two, the government of India launched Sahakar DigiPay and Sahakar Digi Loan app. So if you want to do transaction, if you are a member of cooperative bank, if you want to do transaction, then which app will you use? You will use Sahakar DigiPay app. But if you want to take loan from cooperative and you are a member, then you have to use Sahakar Digi Loan app. Okay, and the government of India plans that within next 2 years, which means by the year 2027, at least 1500 cooperative banks should have these apps. Now, there is National Federation of Urban Cooperative Bank and Credit Societies, NAFCUB, okay. So, National Federation of Urban Cooperative Bank and Credit Societies, 1977, it was established in 1977. It's also a cooperative bank that is called as the apex body for urban cooperative bank. Just one extra information which might be asked in UPSC Prelims, that which is the apex body, the top body for urban cooperative bank. The answer is NAFCUB. Now, bacho, in the year 2025, the government of India amended actually the banking laws in India. So, with this amendment, 2-3 things happened in India, very important, okay. The first thing that happened in India was nomination framework was changed. So, for example, let's say that I am, putting my money in a bank. Now, I can withdraw the money, of course, but suppose that something happens to me. So, I will have to nominate somebody who can withdraw the money. Earlier, only one person can be nominated. So, for example, I'll nominate, let's say, my mom or dad, right? But now 4 people can be nominated. So, for every account holder, I can nominate 4 people, so that if anything happens to me, those 4 individuals will get the money, okay. Number 2, see, if there is any person who is working in a bank, let's say this is a bank and I am working in a bank and I have either 10% shares of the bank or I have shares worth 2 crore rupees in a bank. So, suppose I am working in a bank and I am the shareholder of a bank and the value of my share is either 2 crore rupees or I have more than or equal to 10% share. So, 10, 11, 12. So, either I have 10 or more than 10% share or the value of my share is 2 crore. Then, according to the new amendment, bank says those people who are having this kind of facility, they are called as people with substantial interest. So, which means I am a very important person for a bank because I am holding 10% shares and the value of my share is 2 crore, either of these conditions. So, any such person is called as person of substantial interest, and whenever these kind of people make policies for a bank, then RBI examines it very keenly to see that whether the policy has been made by this person for his own benefit. This is very important. So, RBI says that RBI will be very careful when a bank makes its policy. Suppose I am HDFC Bank and in HDFC Bank I have a 11% share, and suppose I am one of the important person of HDFC Bank, I make some policy or bank makes the policy. RBI will examine that whether that policy specifically has been designed to help this person. That is the meaning. Now, the third is there has been a new amendment and that is related to cooperative bank. So, bacho, in cooperative bank, the maximum tenure of the director now has been fixed to be 10 years. This is one liner, it can be asked in UPSC Prelims, that what is the maximum tenure of the director in a cooperative bank? It is 10 years. Now, this is very important for us for both prelims and mains, and it is called as enhanced access and service excellence, EASE. So, bacho, what happened in the year 2018, the government of India introduced a reform called as Enhanced Access and Service Excellence, which means people should find it easy to do business with a bank. So if I want to open my account, take loan, deposit money, withdraw money, it should be a very friendly experience. So the government of India released some reforms and said that banks have to follow some code of conduct to make the process of banking smooth for the society. And banks should also not take unnecessary risk. That is called as ease reform. So in 2018, when the reform was launched, it is called ease 1.0. In 2019, it is called ease 2.0. 2020 is 3.0. 2021 4.0. In 2020, it is called 5.0, 2023 6.0, 2024 7.0, and 25 onwards 8.0. This 8.0 is also called as ease rise. Okay, that's the name. Now, what I have done for you is I have created a table for you where I have mentioned that in each of these ease reforms, what is the theme of the reform and what is the key focus area. So, for example, we can see that under ease 1.0, the theme was responsible and responsive public sector banks. So, public sector banks should become more responsible by giving better experience to customer. Ease 2.0 says that banks should be clean and smart. Clean means the NPA should be less. Okay. Then Ease 3 says technology should be included in banking. Theme is technology. Then Ease 4 says technology plus collaborative banking. Banks should collaborate with each other. Ease 5 says increase the digital presence and use of digital technology in bank and use more data for better decision making in a bank. Ease 6 says that customer friendly banking should be there. Ease 7 says customer friendly plus resilient. Resilient banking means if there is any external challenge like Indian economy is not doing well, global economy is not doing well, our banking sector should be able to absorb the challenge. Then Ease 8, which is called as Ease Rise, it says that our bank should become more innovative and they should follow excellent practices. They should be able to face risk and they should be more strong, resilient. And the banking sector should also promote socio-economic development of India. So these are the things which are there in this ease reforms. All right. So bacho, now we have to see some reforms related to foreign investment also. Let us see. So I have created a small table for you that how does foreign investment come to India. So bacho, there are two types of foreign investment. The first is called as foreign portfolio investment, FPI. It is also called as hot money because it comes to India for short period of time. It makes profit and then leaves India. How does FPI come to India? FPI comes to India through permission of SEBI. What is the current definition of FPI, foreign portfolio investment? So for example, suppose Mr. Bill Gates comes to India and he purchases less than 10% shares in Indian companies, then he is called FPI, foreign portfolio investment. So the foreign investors who take less than 10% stake in Indian companies are called FPI. And the foreign investors who take more than, equal to or more than 10% stake in Indian companies, they are called as FDI, foreign direct investment. So if somebody wants to become FPI, they have to take permission of SEBI. If somebody wants to become foreign direct investment of India, then what is the rule? The rule is there are two methods of coming to India to become FDI. The first is automatic route. Automatic route means if somebody, suppose there is a foreign company which wants to construct roads in India, they can simply come to India without prior government permission and they can come to India, they can see their land, they can do their dealings in India and they have to inform RBI within next 30 days. They have to inform the government of India within next 30 days that why they have come, how much dollars or foreign currency they have brought. That is called automatic route. What is government route? Government route means suppose somebody has to open a defense related business in India. So government of India says that if you want to open a defense related business or you want to open a printing press in India or biotechnology park in India, these kind of, or open a bank in India, then before coming to India, you have to inform the government and take permission. Whom do you inform and whose permission do you take? You need the permission of DPIIT, you need the permission of relevant ministry and you need the permission of RBI. Then you can come to India and within 60 days, approval will be given to you if everything is fine. So suppose that Mr. Bill Gates wants to open a bank in India. He has to take permission of DPIIT, Ministry of Finance and RBI. And the Indian agencies will respond in 60 days time to tell whether Mr. Bill Gates can open a bank or not. That is called government route. Now, in 2026, bacho, there has been a reform. What is the reform? The reform is that during COVID, what was happening was, there are some countries in the world like China who were going to other countries and they were acquiring companies through unfair means. So for example, suppose that China came to India during COVID and China acquired 1% share of HDFC Bank. Government of India got worried that if you don't stop China, China might acquire 10% shares and it will become FDI. And when you become FDI, you become a decision maker in the company. So Government of India made a rule that any country which shares land border with India, for example, China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, Bhutan, Africa, government made a rule that if investor from any of these countries comes to India, and if they want to do FDI in India, foreign direct investment, then they can only come to India through government route, which means they require prior permission of the Government of India to come. Now in 2026, government has relaxed this condition and government is saying that if any foreign investor of these countries, like China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, Bhutan, Africa, if their foreign investor, which means investor from these countries are coming to India to acquire either 10% or less than 10% stake in Indian companies, less than 10% stake, which means they are not coming here for important stake or majority stake, they are coming for less than 10% stake. In that case, which is not very significant, in that case, they can come through automatic route. But if they are coming for more than 10% stake, like 11, 12, 13, 14, then Government of India says you require prior government approval, which is government route. So, from the countries which share land border with India, if they are coming to India for getting insignificant stake like 7, 8, 9% stake in Indian companies, they can come through automatic route. But if they are coming to India for more than 10% stake, then government approval or government route is required. Now, Bacho, let us look at some of the developments in capital market. So now, Bacho, the first rule that we have to study is called fit and settlement rule. See, what is the meaning of this? Suppose a foreign investor has come to India. While the foreign investor came to India, SEBI realized that the investor was very clean, there was no problem, and we allowed the investor to invest in India. But after the investor invested in India, we got to know that there is some problem in the ethical conduct of the person, integrity of the person is compromised, or the person has been convicted of any kind of irregularity or illegal conduct, etc. Right? So what used to happen in India was automatically the person used to be disqualified. And SEBI used to say that, in certain cases of integrity, reputation, conviction record, if SEBI finds out, even when the person has invested in India, you will be automatically disqualified. But then now this rule has been relaxed and SEBI says that, in case of any pending conviction or suppose that there is any, challenge related to your ethical conduct or integrity, SEBI will also do its own investigation and will find out that if there is truth to the matter, etc., or till the courts pronounce the final judgment, automatic disqualification will not happen on mere, reputation tarnish. So, for example, I am an investor who is invested in India, I am from a foreign country, and suppose there has been some tarnishing of my image, automatically I used to be disqualified. But now SEBI says, no, let the final conviction happen, or let the courts or the judiciary first pronounce the judgment, etc., and then we will see what to do. So, this is number one. Number two, there is a scheme by Government of India called as Single Window Automatic and Generalized Access for Trusted Foreign Investors Swagat framework, which has been initiated in India. Now, what is the meaning of this framework? See, so Bacho, what happens is, if we want foreign money or dollars to come to India, we saw now that the value of rupee is already falling. We need more dollars. So, if you want to invite more dollars and more foreigners to the country, we have to give them single window clearance and we have to give them easy access. Just say, for example, a foreigner comes to India and we tell the foreigner that every year you have to submit the document again, get NOC, etc. It's painful for them, because every year they will have to go through the process. They don't feel stable in India. So the first thing government has done is, government said, if you get a certificate to invest in India, the certificate will be valid for next 10 years. You don't need to do any major NOC for next 10 years. That is the first thing that the government has done. The second thing government is saying that if any foreign investor is coming to India who is not very risky, where we feel that the person is not very risky and the foreign investors' track record is very clean, we give them easy terms, easy rules and regulations for entry into India. And the third is that whenever a foreign portfolio investor and a venture capital used to come to India, we used to tell them for separate registration. So suppose that I am Mr. Bill Gates, I am coming to India and I want to invest in India as FPI, separate registration. If I want to invest in startups, I had to go for separate registration. But now SEBI has said that with a common registration, same investor can become FPI, same investor can become a venture capital, which means SEBI and Government of India, they are trying to invite more foreigners and investors whom they consider to be safe by reducing the unnecessary rules and regulations. This is called as ease of doing business. So now, bachcho, let us get into this chapter, which is employment, unemployment. Now, before we start employment, unemployment, let us have a quick look into some of the basic concepts related to employment, unemployment, so that we are able to understand the current affairs part. Now, see, look at the working age population of India. So, for policy purposes, if you read Economic Survey and Budget, you will see that Government of India takes the age group 15 to 59 years as the working age population. Now, similarly, according to the Government of India, what is the youth age group? The age group for youth in India is considered to be 15 to 29 years. So, working age group 15 to 59 and youth age group 15 to 29. Now, let us also look at what is the meaning or definition of labor force in India. So, bachcho, the meaning of labor force is those people who are employed, obviously they are labor force, and those people who want to work, they are ready to work, but they are not getting jobs, which means they are unemployed. But what type of unemployment? Involuntary unemployment. So, I want to work, but I am not getting work. So, the number of people who are employed and number of people who are unemployed, specifically those who are involuntary unemployed. If you add them, you get labor force. Now, what is labor force participation rate? Labor force participation rate means out of total population, what is the labor force of India, which means that out of total population, how many people are either working or looking for jobs, which means employed plus unemployed. So, labor force participation rate is equal to labor force upon total population. It is equal to employed plus unemployed upon total population. What is the definition of unemployment rate? Unemployment rate, bachcho, is equal to unemployment upon labor force. So, we can write it as unemployed, number of people who are unemployed upon labor force. Labor force means employed plus unemployed. Okay, so now let us get into how do we measure employment and unemployment. But before I tell you how do we measure employment and unemployment, let me tell you about two different type of survey which is used to measure employment and unemployment in India. The name of the first survey which is used to measure employment and unemployment is called CWS, Current Weekly Status. What is the meaning of that? So here the Government of India or the agencies of the government would come to us and they would ask us the question that in last 1 week, was there any one particular day, in last 1 week, was there any one particular day where we worked for at least 1 hour? So, let's say that in last 1 week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to Sunday, if there was one day, let's say Tuesday, where we worked for at least 1 hour, then according to the definition of CWS, we are employed. Now, the second definition of employed and unemployed is usual activity status. Usual status. That is the second definition, okay? Principal status and subsidiary status. Now see, what is the meaning of usual status? So here the Government of India comes to us and asks us that in last 1 year, which means reference period is 365 days, in last 1 year, did you work for at least 30 days, which means at least 1 month, any 30 days of last 1 year? If you say yes, then the government agencies, which is MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, they will say that you are employed as per subsidiary status. Subsidiary status means you have worked for at least 30 days in last 1 year. Similarly, a second question is asked to you that in last 1 year, did you work for at least or more than 182 days. If you say that you have worked for more than 182 days, which means in last 1 year you work for more than 6 months, then government says, oh, then to you are employed as per principal status. So there are two questions which are asked. In last 1 year, if you worked for more than 6 months, then you are employed as per principal status. In last year, if you work for more than 30 days, you are employed as per subsidiary status, which means that overall, if you have worked for more than 30 days, then they say that you are employed according to usual status. So at least 30 days, if you are employed, then usual status says that you are employed. And the current weekly status says in last 1 week, you should have worked for at least 1 hour in any one particular day. So now see. In the year 2017, Government of India started a new type of survey called PLFS, Periodic Labour Force Survey. Why? Because all the measures of employment, unemployment in India were using different type of survey methods which was not very consistent and which was not very regular. So Government of India said that employment, unemployment data should be regularly collected. So government started to collect the data on quarterly basis for urban area and on yearly basis for both rural and urban. So periodic labor force survey in 2017 started with quarterly survey for urban and yearly survey for rural and urban. But last year 2025 it was changed, and now Government of India conducts the survey, which is periodic labor force survey conducted by MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So it is conducted in three different ways. Number one, a monthly survey is conducted by PLFS, Periodic Labor Force Survey. Monthly survey is conducted for both rural and urban India. Quarterly survey is collected for both rural and urban India. Yearly survey is also conducted for both rural and urban India, which means in both rural and urban India, we try to find out employment and unemployment through monthly survey, quarterly survey and yearly survey. Now, what type of survey does the MOSPI or PLFS conduct? For monthly collection of data related to employment, unemployment, they use CWS method for both rural and urban. CWS is this method, bachcho, okay? So they use this CWS method for both rural and urban. For quarterly survey, they again use CWS method for both rural and urban. But for yearly survey, they use two methods. One is usual status method, which is this method, and they also use CWS method. They use two methods to cross-check the data for both rural and urban India. So same methods are used for both rural and urban, but for monthly and quarterly CWS, for yearly usual status plus CWS. Now let us look at some of the figures which is given in the economic survey related to employment and unemployment this year. So bachcho, this is the first data which is given in the economic survey, which is related to labor force participation rate. Now in the economic survey, only this diagram is given this year, which talks about labor force participation rate. So see what is given. So as per the economic survey and the budget, if you look at the year 2025-26, our labor force participation rate in the first quarter of 25-26 is 55%. Then in the second quarter, it became 55.1%, and in the third quarter, it is increasing further. So economic survey says that in the year 25-26, in every quarter, labor force participation rate is improving. That is the only thing they talk. But if we take current affairs of last 2 years or 3 years, we see something else. We see that there is a very different kind of trend that is happening in India. So if you take 2017-18 till the year 2023-24, in India, labor force participation rate increased from 49.8 to 60%. 23-24 was the peak. But after 23-24, we see that there has been a decline in the labor force participation rate. So if UPSC will ask the question that in last 5 years what has happened, to last 5 years though it has declined, because 25 it has declined, 24, 23, at least for last 3 years though we can say that it has declined. But initially it was increasing, but since last 3 years we can say it has declined. But in the year 25-26 what has happened? Only in the year 25-26, see, quarter 2 is better than quarter 1, which means every quarter our labor force participation rate is rising. So if you take 1 year, only 25-26, fir though it is improving. But if you take last 2-3 years, then we will see that it is declining actually. Okay, this is the trend. Similarly, if you look at unemployment in India, you will see that unemployment rate, you will see that Government of India has said that in the year 2025-26, our unemployment rate in the first quarter was 5.4%, then it became 5.2% and then it declined. Which means in the year 25-26, within that year it is improving. But if you see last 5-6 years, or if you look at the data of almost like 8 years, you will see that from the year 2017-18 till the year 22-23, our unemployment rate declined from 6% to 3.2%. See, so for these 5 years, our unemployment rate declined. Then it became stagnant. Okay, and then we will see that in the year 25-26, actually it is rising. Because from 3.2 it became 4.8 to 5.1. But if you only look at the year 2025, within that year you will see progress is there, which means unemployment rate is coming down. But if you compare it with previous years, it is still very high. That is the trend. This is how you should interpret the trend. So if UPSC will ask you that what happened to unemployment rate in 2025, we will say it's improving. But if UPSC says what happened in last 2-3 years, we will say it is rising. Now, Bacho, there is something very interesting related to employment, unemployment. So, see, if you want to classify the workers on the basis of type of work that they are doing, if you want to classify, then you will get something interesting. One data is given in this year's economic survey. This is the data. So, I have taken the result here, an approximate result. Which means the result is not very precise because data set is not very complete, but whatever data set is there, I have tried to take an average figure so that we get an idea. So, let's say that there are 100 workers in India. 100 workers in India, and we want to find out of 100 people who are workers in India, how many people are self-employed? 41% approximately. Out of 100 people who are working in India, roughly 41% are self-employed. Roughly 15% are those people who are helpers or who are helping in the household enterprise. So, bachcho, suppose I am running a very small business from my household, or very small business which I have, like candle making, etc., packaging. So, there are some helpers who help me in my industry. So, number of people who work as helpers, they are 15%, and mostly in helper, who is there? Mostly women. So, in self-employed, mostly 41% workers are self-employed, 15% are helper, 25% are wage employed, those who work for regular salaries. Salaried class is 25% and casual labor is 19%, who can work for half time, yani part time or full time, etc. So, casual labor do not have any kind of fixed contract. They work for part time also, they work for full time also, depends. So, they are 19%. So, self-employed 41, helper 15, wage employed 25. This is wage employed is regular employment, and casual labor is 19. Total 100 workers are there. Now, in the economic survey this year, the government has given one interesting table which shows the features of all the type of workers which can be asked in UPSC Prelims and Mains as well. So, see, the content for Prelims and Mains is not very different. Questions are of different types, but sometimes same content is asked in both Prelims and Mains. Employment is also that kind of topic. So, let me show you what table is given. So, see, bachcho. This is the table which is given in the economic survey, very interesting table. This is table 12.1 in the economic survey, which talks about different types of employment. For example, look at the first one. I'll tell you how to read it. It says regular or wage employed, second is casual labor, third is self-employed, gig workers, and fourth is contract workers. So, this table gives the difference between all these type of workers. Now, see, whenever you have to find out what is the difference between two types of workers, you need to compare them using same parameter. For example, if you want to find out what is the difference between gig worker and wage earners, those who earn regular wages, what is the difference? So, you will have to first see that how many hours do they work. So, number of hours becomes one of the parameters. Similarly, from where do they work? Work from home or work in the office? So, place of work also becomes a parameter. So, let us look at which parameters economic survey is using. So, first is employer-worker relationship, second is nature of work, third is payment, fourth is location, fifth is number of hours, sixth is social security, and seventh is leave. So, let us see what is the meaning of wage workers or wage employment. Okay. So, suppose bachcho that, not suppose, but in reality, imagine that you qualify UPSC exam and you become an IS officer. So, you are the worker, government of India is the employer. So, let us see what will be your relationship. So, the contract that you will sign with the government will be between only two parties, you and government. Government is your employer, you are the employee. So, that is called as bipartite agreement between employer and worker, direct agreement. Okay. Now, what is the nature of work? Ongoing, which means your work will never be stopped. Till the time you are in the job, you will continue to work. Payment fixed, your salary will be fixed. Okay, I just took your example, okay, as an IS officer. Your work location is specific. You will be given charge of a particular area. Number of hours will be fixed. Officially, it will be fixed. Unofficially, it can be anything. Social security will be given to you, yes. Leave, paid leave, yes. So, if you want to take leave, there are certain number of vacations you can take where salary will be given to you, but you can take leave. That is called regular or wage employed. What is the meaning of casual worker? In casual also, there is direct relationship between workers and the owner. Nature of work is casual or seasonal. So, for example, let's say that in the during a festival, for example, during Diwali, you know that some kind of decorative items have to be manufactured. So, there are some factories or some businesses who come up only during Diwali. or New Year, etc. And what they will do is they will try to create decorative items only for the festival purposes. So they will hire some workers and say, please work with me for only 1 month or 2 months. That is called, casual. So in casual, the payment is daily, the work location is specific, number of hours are demand based, social security not provided, and leave. If you take leave, you will not get your salary. Now comes self-employed. You understand self-employed means you are your own boss. Work is ongoing, and self-employed people don't get salary, they get profit because they are the boss. So who decides their work location? The owner decides. Number of hours, owner decides. And social security, why will you give yourself social security? Leave, self-determined, which means you are the boss, you can do whatever you feel like. Now comes your contract workers. What is the meaning of contract worker? See, suppose I want to work as software developer in a particular company. I can sign a direct contract with them, or I can sign a contract with employment agency which will help me to connect with the IT company. So either direct contact between me and the company, or I will come through an employment agency. So it can be bipartite or tripartite. Okay, tripartite means 3 parties will be involved. And if you talk about contract workers, the work is ongoing, payment is fixed, work location is specific, number of hours are also fixed, social security might be given, might not be given, depends. And leave might be mixed. I might work with a company for 6 months, they might give me 10 days leave with pay, or they might not give me payment, depends. What is gig worker? So whenever you have to decide about gig worker, always remember 2 examples. Example number 1, the people who deliver you food from Zomato and Swiggy. And example number 2, for example, let's say that you call a local electrician through some local contact and tell them to repair your fan or LED bulb in your house. They are called gig workers. So let us see what kind of features are there in the gig workers. So see, what is the employer-employee relationship? So mind you, bacho, in gig workers, let's talk about Swiggy. So Swiggy is the platform, number 1. Number 2, the gig worker who works for Swiggy, those who deliver the food to us. And number 3, the hotels and the cafe and the restaurant who provide the food. So this gig worker is an arrangement between 3 parties, the platform, the worker, and the material supplier, which is the hotel, 3. So it is a tripartite agreement, okay. So now this gig worker nature of work is task based. So for example, I am Zomato, the task that I will give to gig worker is only delivery of food. The payment will be task based, work location is self-determined. I am a gig worker, I will decide in which area I want to deliver food. Number of hours is also fixed. I am the worker, I will decide how many hours I have to work, then I will switch off my phone. Social security currently not given, leave currently not allowed. If you take a leave, you will not be given salary. But government is making arrangement under the new labor laws to provide. This is, the conventional system, but government has changed the system this year, and now they are making it compulsory for Zomato and Swiggy to provide social security. So, bacho, what is gig workers? If you have to define a gig worker, in general, how will you define them? So these are the features that I have noted for gig workers. Number 1 is they mostly in general, okay, exceptions can be there. They mostly do short-term work. This is short-term. And number 2, they mostly do task-based work. So work is defined. They have to deliver fruits, vegetable, or they have to deliver food. Task is defined. They are either freelancer or independent. Right, so they work as per their choice, gig workers. They can work either through platform or non-platform. Platform means through some website or portal, or they can also work through local contacts. Then they can be self-employed, or they can have independent contracts also. So they can either work through self-employed category, which means I will go and give my services to Zomato, and then whenever I feel like I will withdraw. Or I can have a contract with Zomato that, okay, I'll work with you for 3 months. Depends. So these are the features of gig workers. Now let us look at some data related to gig workers, bacho. So in the year 2020 and 2021, how many gig workers were there in India? Roughly 77 lakhs. Now in the year 24-25, how many gig workers? Number of gig workers increased from 77 lakhs to 1.2 crore, which is roughly 2% of India's workforce. So can you see that? The number of gig workers are increasing in our workforce. Now, which are those jobs where you find the maximum amount of gig workers in India? So for example, e-commerce, logistics, right, banking, financial services and insurance, manufacturing, retail, transportation and IT. These are some of the top sectors in India which provide huge number of employment to gig workers. So for example, 37 lakh gig workers work in the field of e-commerce, 15 lakhs logistic, 10 lakhs in banking, financial services and insurance, 10 lakhs in manufacturing, 7 in retail, 6 in transportation, 5 lakh in IT. So these are the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are the top 7 sectors where maximum amount of gig workers are working. So bachcho, I hope that you are able to make use of these informations that I delivered to you through these videos from economic survey, budget and current affairs. And I hope that it helps you in getting a very good score in UPSC Prelims and Mains as well. These videos that I created for you this year is not only important for Prelims, but it is also important for Mains as well as interview. So whenever you require them before an exam, do visit these videos, do revise them. All the best to you. God bless you and do well. Thank you so much.